Jack, aka Birdie, aka DamageCoder6669, aka Lucifer, aka Synnibear03's ex-roommate, is a YouTube animator who has had a tumultuous career on the platform since February of 2018, with the year of 2024 being no different, as I will outline in this video. He's known for bangers such as I'm Back or My Roommate Grew a 14-year-old, I Need Help, which are incidentally the two videos I'll be discussing in this video.
Wait. That Birdie, not... I thought you were talking about the commentary YouTuber, not the... Alright.
14-year-old, I Need Help, which are incidentally the two videos I'll be discussing in this video, as they are relevant to what we care about. That being outlining how Synnibear03, the self-admitted group, was not the only guilty party involved in that allegation. If you're interested in Synnibear03's story, well, feel free to go back and watch my video about it. However, it's not necessary for this video, as I will provide context when it's required. Anyway, without further ado, let's take a look at yet another example of what unrestricted internet access does to a motherfucker. And the next episode in the Just a Robot saga, the YouTuber and can of worms, Birdie.
I remember when I was 12 years old and I drew porn depicting pedophilia, and instead of being
Wait, what?
When I was 12 years old and I drew porn depicting pedophilia, and instead of being concerned or wondering if I was okay, everyone got mad at me for it, and it ended up being the first thing that canceled me in the public eye. Good times. You know I was groomed by Kitty Dog, right?
Starts a conversation like that.
Although Birdie
Exactly, what the fuck?
themselves is not generally considered an art.
Yeah, as you can see, I still got the flu. I'm like 80% better, I guess.
Commentary community creator, or ACC creator for short, his animations appear to be nestled into the same viewer base, subsequently having a multitude of mutual friends with Synnibear03, both online and in real life. Well, for those of you who did not watch my last video, the art commentary community has a bit of an issue when it comes to degeneracy, with a basis in deviant art which is, as the name implies, mixed with a YouTube commentator whose audience primarily consists of children. You have a very unique powder keg. Despite the fact that their audience generally leans on the younger side of things, it's not uncommon for art commentary community creators to make crude depictions of darker or straight up immoral topics like gore, bestiality, rape, or self-harm. Combine these factors with a Discord community that allows for 13-year-olds, and you get Synnibear.
Who the fuck has a kink for self-harm? You people need to be shipped off to somewhere that you won't allow to fucking get free will. Who the fuck gets a... What the fuck? Alright. This guy has less subs than you, by the way. Yeah, I noticed that. But, you know, he's racking up views, so... You know. Good for him.
03, or more broadly, a grooming problem. Well, what about in regards to the topic of this video, Birdie? Well, it appears to me as if they're a victim of the unfortunately common grooming within the ACC, subsequently drawing PR art at age 12, which, as Birdie established...
It's kind of unique right here. He has his little body cam over there while the game is playing in the background. Kind of unique.
Led to the first of many controversies. This claim was made in the aforementioned video, I'm Back, which is fucking 2 hours long. The video was released on April 15th, 2024, and answered the question of how Birdie and Synnibear moved in together, as well as quite a few other questions I don't think anyone asked, but regardless.
So, you're probably a bit confused. Like, hey, why have I been gone so long? Why did I come back? And oh, Birdie trauma. That's a pretty weird thing that I've never talked about before. I'll get into all that juicy stuff in a bit, but first I'd like to properly introduce myself for the first time. Hi, my name is Jack, or Lucifer. My pronouns are he, it. I'm 19. I'm aroaced and gay, ooh la la. My favorite colors are red, black, and yellow. I'm a demon kitty. I love rainbows and tacos and cats and randomness. I love scene and decora K and emo, but that's pretty obvious, isn't it? I have evil autism. I love South Park, BoJack Horseman, Moral Oral, Doki Doki Literature Club, Miracle Musical, Milo Pony, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and other thingies. I have a kitty named Squirp. So during the making of this video, we got another cat, and I named her Stupid.
Are you beginning to see what?
Is she making a dating profile? Why is she telling us all this? Why is he telling us all this?
I mean by can of worms. Oh, also those cats that he introduced, Squirp and Stupid, well, they will be extraordinarily relevant later, so keep those little fellas in mind. This video was released after a nearly 3-year-long hiatus, which was caused by those aforementioned controversies, with the video being recorded after Birdie had moved in with Synnibear. Regardless, he opens the video by advertising his Twitter and warning viewers to be wary of gore. Neat. Anyway, this shout out is followed by one of the most impressively long-winded trauma dumps I have ever witnessed. Seriously, it is at least 30 minutes long. Fuck, I mean, you could argue that the entire 2-hour-long video is just one long-winded trauma dump, but either way, Birdie prefaces the trauma dump with this.
If you are a member of my...
And see, this is exactly the reason why I didn't make another commentary video. Because I didn't want to add any of the fuck shit I'm dealing with into the commentary. I'd much rather just focus on my situation and then I'll get back to the grind.
Family watching this video, including my parents and grandparents, I kindly advise that you stop here. I do not wish to have you be part of my internet life because you have irreversibly hurt me, and I'm going to be straightforward and honest about the damage that you've done. You will be anonymous and safe from harm in my video. I ask you again, please stop watching. If you wanted to hear about the ways that you've abused me, you would have listened to me a long time ago, or reflected on your own actions. Okay, cool, bye, go away.
Yeah, I think that sets the bar pretty high right off rip. Before I inject any more of my personal bias, let's just begin sifting through the mega trauma dump, shall we? Starting off with all of Birdie's mental and physical issues, Birdie just kind of sprinkles these in like little Easter eggs throughout his 2-hour-long video, so for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to compile them all here before we get into the rest of it. Firstly, judging by his straw poll, Birdie has autism, ADHD, borderline personality disorder, and is on the schizophrenia spectrum. He additionally claims to have psychosis, however later clarifies this to be referring to the schizophrenia spectrum diagnosis.
I would like to clarify that I was diagnosed with psychosis in September of 2023, so this is just something that I live with. I mean, I was diagnosed when I was 14 too, but like I was in denial about it for a long time, so like I just got diagnosed again. At the moment, I'm unsure what disorder in particular I have because I had to stop seeing my psychiatrist because I moved to another state, which I'll elaborate on in a little bit. He initially diagnosed me with depression with psychotic features, but as I elaborated on my symptoms, he realized it was something more severe and that I'm most likely schizospec. So at the moment, I just call it psychosis for convenience.
Further in the video, Birdie says that they have depression and chronic anemia, which is actually not chronic anemia, but instead a undiagnosed heart condition. Yes, the health condition morphed mid-fucking video. The next condition Birdie claims having, I don't exactly know how to define based on Birdie's description. Birdie refers to it, or them I guess, as headmates.
I'm gonna be honest with all of you, I don't even know what Carol was. She wasn't an alter because she couldn't take control of my body.
What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this?
And she wasn't a tulpa or imaginary friend because she was not intentionally created. For simplicity, I will be calling her a headmate in this section.
Right.
Similarly to the psychosis drama, this should have never been drama to begin with because it's weird to make a spectacle of a teen struggling with mental illness, and it absolutely made me worse. I wasn't attempting to like fake DID or anything. That was never my intention if it did come across that way. I don't have any active headmates at the moment, but I do have a history of them. Carol, Marilyn, Susie, Rero, Goofball, Playdate, and even Edgy Jack were all sentient beings with their own thoughts and emotions who originated from my brain. I really wish I had a concise conclusion or answer for this, but I don't. When Carol first appeared when I was 14, I went all the way to fucking Seattle Children's Hospital to see a psychiatrist, only for him to brush me off for being autistic and tell me that I have a vivid imagination and that it was just the autism.
I have no interest in discrediting Birdie's claimed conditions. There are plenty of better things to point out. That being said, however, I do have to say, Birdie's description makes it sound like an X-Man superpower mutation or imaginary friends. He's never been diagnosed with anything in regards to it. In fact, the only professional he spoke to about it described it as autism mixed with an overactive imagination. According to Birdie, they aren't split personalities, it's not dissociative identity disorder, they are people that are sentient that are only in Birdie's head. I'm not tripping, right? Like, other than the sentience part, which I don't even know how to interpret, Birdie's just describing an imaginary friend. I mean, I guess they could be hallucinations, but then they would just be hallucinated friends, which still sounds like the same concept as imaginary friends, just less voluntary, I guess, but anyway. Oh, and also I wrote this big fuck off paragraph about what I believe to be the final of Birdie's health conditions that I'm yet to mention, or more specifically, chronic fatigue. But the video was already long as shit, so I'm not gonna read that. If you give a shit, you can. I thought it was at least worth addressing because I have seen people question Birdie's chronic fatigue diagnosis. However, in my opinion, there are far more dubious elements of Birdie's story, which I will establish later. First though, I'm gonna speedrun some of the allegations against Birdie from that aforementioned tumultuous career, because I don't exactly feel like litigating shit that happened when this person was a teenager, but I feel like I'd be foolish not to at least mention some of it. Oh, also, there is a hell of a lot more conjecture in this video when in comparison to the rest of my content, and that is because for most of this, we only have one side of the story with next to no evidence. However, I will clearly specify when something I'm saying is a conclusion or opinion based on limited information. Anyway, to begin the speedrun, here's Birdie talking about those aforementioned controversies from when he was a child and teenager.
So, I am notoriously known for not being good at interneting. Like emotional outbursts, constant venting, oversharing personal information, things like that. The reason I joined the internet in the first place at 11 years old is because I wasn't loved at home, and I was being abused at school too. I had a warped view of the internet, only being a child, and I believed that all of my viewers would act as friends.
Well, yeah, that explains a lot. As I've already established, there is an admittedly dark likelihood that the root, or at least a factor for Birdie's erratic behavior, shall I say, is some of the stuff that I'm outlining in this segment from Birdie's developmental years. As I'll attempt to outline in this video, the issue is that Birdie uses this mistreatment.
Yep. I mean, for once, you can't just, you know, not go off of the habit of how your parents are treating you in real life. Then, yeah, I mean, take a social media break. Take like 2 weeks social media break. Do my push-up challenge. Oh shit. Oh, the days, man. The days, the fucking days. Holy shit. But anyways, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to go off of the habit of how your parents are treating you and shit like that, so, you know, that's just a thing. But I mean, you know, for other times, if that's what you're basically surrounded by, you know, for most of your life, and, you know, you don't got any good friends and shit like that, then, you know, you build off a habit of how your parents treat you. But, you know, there's some other ways that you can probably get out of that shit. But, you know, 9 times out of 10, usually doesn't work. Actually, 5 times out of 10, it usually doesn't work. The other half, you can work it out. You know, you just need some good people that actually give a fuck about you. And, you know, that's how I got these motherfuckers here. If it wasn't for y'all, you know, calling me out on my behavior and shit like that, I would have been a lot worse person. Not gonna lie. Y'all didn't call me out on all the dumbass shit I've been doing. I would have been a lot worse off. You know? So, appreciate that.
Treatment as a justification for him to do immoral acts to others.
I've decided to come out here and talk about what happened today because the vast majority of the controversy surrounding me is false, and I believe a lot of you are simply misled or confused about the information. My therapist told me about a concept once that really stuck with me. It's called the curse of knowledge bias. She explained to me that although I know that Birdie drama consists of lies and exaggerations, and I know that my parents abused me, and I know that my ex-friends are lying about me and trying to publicize personal issues, and I know that I've been taken advantage of by everybody involved in this, nobody else knows, and I'm
You'd be beefing with the world if we didn't save you. No. I'll probably be. I'll be beefing. Nah, you're right.
frustrated because you cannot see what's so obvious to me. Let me be clear, I still do not want anything to do with Birdie drama. I would not like this drama to be continuously dragged on going forward.
Yeah, sorry about that, buddy. Also, did you catch that? I swear they need therapists who specialize in dealing with terminally online freaks, because I swear this is not the first time I've heard of a therapist gassing up their client to post something online because the internet just doesn't know the abuse they've endured. Yeah, I don't think I can wholly blame the therapist. If this video that I'm talking about is any indication, then Birdie likely wasn't providing the therapist with the most accurate, unbiased retelling of events, as I will display later. But anyway, Birdie ended up elaborating on that first controversy with Kitty Dog.
If you aren't aware of who Kitty Dog is, which would be shocking if you weren't, she's this super duper popular animation memer who makes very sexual videos. I'm totally not surprised that this happened. And when I was 11 to 12 years old, she was basically my idol. I made a shit ton of videos about her, and she commented on them asking me to join Discord, and you can see where this is going. Anyways, this shouldn't have been drama in the first place, but Kitty Dog encouraged me to make drawings like those, and that's why—
Whoa. What that big do a 12-year-old stuff? Also, I'm 12 because yes. Oops, I got wrong. That's fine. What that beak do?
drama in the first—
Hey, Vsauce, Michael here. Where are your fingers? My fingers? They're on my,
place, but Kitty Dog
2017. It's fucking wild.
encouraged me to make drawings like
I hate forcing myself not to fall. Alright.
those, and that's why they exist. I know—
Are you okay? Kinda. Why? I don't know. Someone makes Rule 34 of me and sins. It's concerning. Nah, it's normal. You should draw Rule 34 of you and sins. Wait, no. Okay, I'm done.
a few of you are probably going to say this as some sort of counter-argument, so I'd like to acknowledge—
I was 14 and in high school at the time. Nigga, I was 16 at the time. Bro, like... Nah, bro, I was in some fuck shit in 2017, bro. I didn't even know what the fuck Discord was.
legit. The age gap wasn't, like, huge. I was 12 and she was 14. But, like, let's not get caught up in the logistics of grooming. I am not misusing the word. I can confidently say that this is what this was. Another thing to bring into consideration is that apparently Kitty Dog was also being groomed during this time period, but this still doesn't excuse her behavior. Especially when we consider COCSA to be a trauma response, which stands for Child-on-Child Sexual Abuse. And yes—
What?
sexual abuse can be accounted for under messaging like Kitty Dog did. I'm aware of the fact people are still going to defend Kitty Dog in this situation, but at least acknowledge the impact this had on me as a kid.
Well, isn't that just sickening? Yeah, so this community is so depraved that you end up with some kind of fucked up game of telephone where these minors end up regurgitating fringe adult concepts to each other that they either found online or from someone who realistically should have jail time. Likely someone who actually fulfills both those categories, to be honest. Anyway, the other person involved, Kitty Dog, is a YouTube creator with 600k subscribers accrued from her furry animation content. What's especially notable to us, however, is that in February of 2024, so a few months before Birdie released his I'm Back video, Kitty Dog released a document that outlined all of her wrongdoing as a teenager. Kitty Dog seemingly attempted to genuinely apologize for her actions, taking accountability and swearing to improve her behavior. Now, whether she actually followed through with this, I don't know. And it's very possible that I either don't or do end up addressing her in future content. What I do know, however, is that despite being 6 times Birdie's channel size, Kitty Dog is, as far as I'm concerned, a hell of a lot less controversial on the internet, with her document being received relatively positively.
There was a huge power dynamic. Kitty Dog was aware of the power she had over me, being a massive creator that I looked up to, and I was not old enough to consent to these things. I was 12.
Yeah, do you know who else wasn't able to consent, Birdie? Despite being 2 years older, Kitty Dog wasn't able to consent. Additionally, I do not think a 500k subscriber difference, or whatever it was at the time, creates a power dynamic. It's not like Birdie's channel or career was directly tied to Kitty Dog's, and it's not like Kitty Dog was employing Birdie. From what I can tell, the significant difference between how Birdie and Kitty Dog responded to relatively similar allegations is what dictates their broadly differing public reception. Well, that and their pre-established reputations, of course. More specifically, both Birdie and Kitty Dog are victims of grooming. However, Kitty Dog acknowledged this and took fault for her actions in the document. Birdie, in the months after, attempted to piggyback off of Kitty Dog's explanations, applying them to himself while simultaneously attempting to attach all of the fault to Kitty Dog, who, let me remind you, was a 14-year-old at the time. Both of these people are adults now. They could potentially be excused for their depraved actions as a child, but that does not allow them to continue the behavior or attempt to justify it as an adult, which Kitty Dog has seemingly not done while Birdie has. It's just an absurd double standard that Birdie is applying, and it's all seemingly with the justification that he was the youngest party involved by 2 years, which in my opinion is not a substantial enough age gap to reasonably apply that double standard. To be clear, by the way, judging by the evidence that Birdie presents, it does seem as if Kitty Dog at minimum encouraged Birdie to draw sexualized art when Birdie was very clearly uncomfortable with the idea, which is fucked. I don't know if I'd necessarily describe it as grooming, but it's definitely bad, okay? My issue is that we're supposed to give Birdie so much leniency due to his various physical and mental conditions or traumatic past. Why does the same standard not apply to a 14-year-old Kitty Dog?
This led to the first time I got into big internet drama, and Kitty Dog completely threw me under the bus when this went down, despite encouraging me to draw art like this prior to it being publicized. She essentially made fun of me for being harassed while still pretending to be my friend.
What the fuck? Birdie is just acknowledging with a text edit on screen that what he's saying in the audio is fucking delusional, and he didn't think to edit it out. To be specific, in the audio, Birdie is very clearly stating that when allegations against him came out, Kitty Dog threw him under the bus and made fun of him. This, however, as Birdie's text edit acknowledges, is blatantly false because Kitty Dog never even addressed Birdie's allegations. Do you know what's even crazy though? This is far from the most absurd claim that Birdie makes in defense of him drawing art as a child.
I think the drama that resulted from this is pretty funny sometimes, because the main argument that ranters use is that it was illegal for me to draw at 12 years old. I'm sorry, but have you ever met a 12-year-old that hasn't drawn? If that were illegal...
What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Dog. He claims to be groomed by a 14-year-old. Yeah. What is going on?
We live in some sort of dystopian society where anyone under the age of 18 would be locked up.
What the fuck are you talking about, you deranged freak? I would be shocked and pretty concerned if I even met a 12-year-old who's drawn in my fucking lifespan. If that doesn't show you how skewed this Birdie fella's perspective of the world is, I don't know what will. He needs to have a, at minimum, 10-year-long internet detox or some shit. That's not even taking into account the relationship that Birdie had with a 13-year-old when he was 16.
I've decided to rewrite this section last minute because the situation I'm about to describe is more morally gray than I remembered it being and requires more nuance on my part in order to explain it. In 2021, I went through my breakup. This breakup alone put me into another
Even if you were 12, it's still a 2 years of age. Exactly. It's just... That's not even like a case. That's the parents. Like, that's the fucking parents' problem. 12 and under is against social... Exactly.
psychotic state where I was essentially dissociating 24/7 and became unable to make proper judgment anymore. Exactly 5 days after said breakup, I was asked out by my former friend Draggy, who was 13. I was 16, and it was my responsibility as the older person to turn them down, but because of the mental state I was in, I was unable to make the right decision. They were entirely aware of the mental state I was in. I addressed my worries with us dating, but they insisted that they wanted to date me, so I agreed.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm supposed to accept that Birdie got manipulated by a 13-year-old when he was 16, while simultaneously claiming that Kitty Dog is a horrible person for taking advantage of a 2-year age gap when Kitty Dog was 14 and Birdie was 12. I don't know if I've ever seen it before, but Birdie has managed to make a double standard. Anyway, this segment was supposed to be a speed run, so I'm gonna move on to the next notable incident that Birdie mentions that I don't bring up later in this video. More specifically, I'm referring to an argument that was live streamed between Birdie and his mother.
And if a child has a public account, it should be ran by the guardian or manager. Yep.
About Birdie doxing himself as well as his family because he wanted to die or something. I don't know, it's fucking deranged.
There are 2 livestream clips from 2017 of me threatening suicide to my dad, and another of my mom confronting me for giving out my address to somebody online. I'm not gonna play either of these clips because they were of me as a child being put in abusive situations and having an emotional response, so they're deeply triggering for me. But these clips are out there, and you can search for them if you want, I guess.
So, here's some 7-year-old footage of that. I'm only gonna play a small amount of the 10 total minutes, but I can assure you that both parties involved, that being Birdie and his mother, maintain about the same demeanor the whole way through.
My mom is coming down here, hold on.
Did you just give our address to Doge Dust?
No.
Did you give our address to anybody online?
No.
Tell me the truth.
No.
My God. Why?
Could you go upstairs? I'm in the middle of
Tell
something.
me the
Mom,
truth.
go away.
No, I want to know.
Please.
On Discord.
I'm in the middle of
No, I want to
something.
know.
Mom.
Did you give our address to somebody?
Shut.
Did you?
There are people here.
I need to know if you did that.
I will tell you after this.
No, not after now.
Mom, just.
Dad's up there right
There are
now.
people watching this.
I need to know if you gave our address to somebody on the internet. I need
What
to know that, and Dad
the
is
fuck is
waiting
happening?
up here.
Hold on, there are people
No, just
watching.
answer the question.
Why do you need to know?
Did you or didn't?
Why do you need to know?
That is against the rules of our
It was
internet.
a long time ago.
When
I don't know, but it was a
you
long
need
time
to know.
ago. Could you please go
The internet
upstairs?
is shutting it off right now.
Hold on!
You need to be
Stop!
honest with me.
Please
Or
go
no.
upstairs. You're gonna know.
It's yes or
People
no.
are watching this.
And if you did, we call the police right now, and they're gonna come take all this.
Mom,
That's
you
illegal.
go.
That's illegal.
You go.
Tell me if you did.
Mom, just one moment.
You did, didn't
Please.
you?
Remember when we could see the dislikes?
The truth.
One moment.
Just tell me.
Please.
You're not understanding.
No, you don't. It wasn't recently at all. It was
I remember the times when we could see dislikes. Good times.
I don't know.
I want you to finish talking to your friends, and then you come upstairs and talk to Dad and I.
No, just no. I can't do that.
Sounds like
Yeah.
an how?
I
You
need.
gave our last name away,
That's enough.
and now our
Go
address.
upstairs. Go.
Don't.
Just go. Okay.
That's very dangerous.
I'm in the middle of
I
something really,
understand.
really important. I'm
But
trying to.
Albina just told me that you're doing this right
Do
now.
not speak to Alvina. You go upstairs.
You told
I'm
me.
That
in
was
the
a
middle
black
of
mom.
something. When did
Let me tell you, she would get the
Wow,
belt.
isn't that crazy? It seems as if Birdie's description of his mother coming in and abusively screaming at him over the doxing incident is an extraordinarily inaccurate retelling of events. And I might even argue the opposite of what actually happened. Yes, his mother did indeed threaten to call the police. However, unlike Birdie, she wasn't screaming about it and came off as extraordinarily reasonable to me. As Birdie has already made clear, his parents are at minimum in their 40s and they prescribed QAnon, so I can't imagine they're the most technologically literate. As Birdie also made clear, however, they had been receiving harassment online with their full names and addresses being dropped by Birdie's detractors. With that sort of equation, if you were Birdie's parents, who else would you go to other than the police if your son, who caused the fucking problem, is screaming at you and being uncooperative because he wants to do his really important task of drawing art on stream with his Discord buddies? One of those aforementioned Discord buddies was even attempting to tell Birdie to settle down and listen to his mother.
Listen to your mom. Listen to your mom.
I mean, for fuck's sake, Birdie's mom even gives
She
Birdie
sounds
the
like
option
an
to
AI
finish up what he was
robot. I
doing
don't
first
see it.
and then come upstairs to
He
talk
just
to his
has a
parents
really
about the
bad
issue.
mic.
If my hypothetical future kid doxed me, I'm shutting that fucking stream down ASAP. Anyway, continuing on through Birdie's video, he proceeds to bring on his trans Latino friend in order to defend Birdie for his self-admitted transphobia and racism.
Because I wanted to help him word it in a way that made sense, because not only am I a trans person too, but I'm also, you know, Latino, so I feel like my word has a bit more holding than his, because he's a little cracker.
And then Birdie goes on to talk about his ferret.
Well, I'm not supposed to be laughing at that shit because I'm not white, but what the? What did he say like that? No, what?
Holding than his, because he's a little cracker.
And then Birdie goes on to talk about his ferret.
Say it like I'm fucking slurred. Damn it, I can't use the emote.
This is a rumor I would especially like to disprove because my ferret Chara passed away in November of 2022, and I don't want my baby girl to be remembered that way. So, there's this screenshot that my ex spread around of me saying I sexually abused my ferret. Of course, if this was true, that would be fucking deplorable, and holy shit, you'd have to send me to jail. Straight to jail. That would be it. You'd have to lock me up and throw away the key, guys. But...
Wait, what do you mean
Wait.
You'd have to send me to jail. Straight to jail. That would be it. You'd have to lock me up and throw away the key, guys. But...
Wait a minute. I don't like where this is going.
What do you mean but?
No.
There's a shit ton of context missing from this. Admittedly, I didn't mention this in the screenshot, but the reason this happened is because I was groomed into it when I was 13 years old. I don't have proof of this because I lost the DMs with my groomer, nor do I even want to find them. I don't even want to say his name because this was the most traumatic time that I was groomed. I've been groomed several times, obviously, but this was the worst, and I don't want to talk about it for that long publicly. Another thing I'd like to point out, which is almost as important as the grooming context, is that right in the screenshot I said I didn't even go through with it. Like, it never even happened. I just prepared to do it because I was 13 and I was told to. This was extremely traumatic for me, which is why, despite the fact that these accusations were hurting me more than any of the ones before this, I didn't address it publicly. After this happened, I would cry every time I saw my ferret, and I had reoccurring nightmares.
Yeah, if you out here getting groomed and shit, I'm pretty sure I advise you to just get off the internet. There's like a clear silver lining of what type of motherfuckers you're attracting. Just, wow, man. I remember the time I used to have like Facebook and shit. I used to use Facebook a lot. Fucking Christ.
About this. I was a victim in this situation, and so was Chara.
Okay, yeah, so here's that screenshot that he was referring to. And according to Urban Dictionary, T-Nance refers to oral sex. So he attempted to fuck his ferret, Chara, in the mouth at age 13. However, claims he was groomed into it, yet doesn't have any evidence of this grooming.
Alright. Okay. Alright. I mean, fucking Christ.
What there is evidence for, though, is other forms of animal abuse, such as Birdie swinging the ferret around, or Chara losing her color and her fur over the course of a year due to being underfed, which is anyone really surprised? Birdie can't even feed himself, although it does make me a bit questionable of why his parents didn't step in and do something about it. Especially considering these messages from Birdie in which he claims that Chara's cage got filled with maggots a few times. Speaking of Chara's cage, as far as I'm concerned, it was far too small. According to my research, aka roughly 3 Google searches, a ferret cage should ideally be a couple square feet in diameter as well as potentially multiple floors tall. This is a hamster cage, at best. This was the point that ferrets are not supposed to be kept as pets alone. They are generally kept in pairs, as ferrets are supposedly a very sociable animal. I mean, other than
animal
physically abusing the ferret, I can't really blame 13-year-old Birdie for underfeeding the ferret, not getting a second one, or giving it too small of a cage. That does seem more like negligence on behalf of Birdie's parents, although it could be explained, not necessarily justified, by ignorance. I mean, I personally had no idea how to raise a ferret before this segment, but I wasn't really intending on getting one, so I think that about wraps up the speedrun. I mean, other than the grooming claims that I will address later after the Synnibear03 stuff. Anyway, with that being said, let's go into part 2 with Birdie's life story in the video I'm Back.
Fuck work anyways, it's not like I'm physically or mentally capable enough to uphold a job in the first place. Fuck capitalism, fuck the public school system, fuck ableism.
The first major topic that Birdie addresses in his 2-hour-long video is the supposed abuse that his family had done to him.
Originally, I was gonna mention here how abusive my parents have been to me my whole life, but due to recent events I've come to find that my whole family is abusive, not just my parents, and I'd like to talk about it. Well, with the exception of my siblings, of course. I'm talking about my grandparents.
Okay, well, what have they actually done to be abusive, though?
My parents are very abusive. I'll give some examples in a little bit, but first, let me put this into perspective for you. They are conservative Trump supporters. They are racist, sexist, transphobic, homophobic, anti-vaxxers, anti-maskers, conspiracy theorists, hardcore Christians. They're literally in a cult. And they have 6 kids, not including me. Ew. They have emotionally, verbally, sexually, and physically abused me for my whole life, as well as neglecting me. And I can say that my siblings have endured similar treatment.
Well, what the fuck? Why not just open with that? If Birdie's own parents emotionally, physically, or even sexually abused him as a child, would that not be enough to single-handedly classify them as abusive? Why attach a bunch of terms that have more to do with politics or ideology? Sure, I don't even—
That is true. That is true. At least you can, I guess, get out of the parents' primitive clutches. I'm still stuck around it, so it's like, you know, type shit.
even agree with their beliefs or in having 7 fucking children, but that doesn't necessarily classify them as abusive. Oh, hi, Nugget. But it's not exactly evidence of abusive behavior, and if anything, attempting to classify as such just weakens Birdie's argument. Anyway, Birdie goes on to state this about their alleged emotional abuse.
One day, my parents literally swarmed me in the basement, so I hid in my room, and they screamed through the door for about an hour or more about how I'm lazy and faking depression to quote-unquote be a victim.
That's the same. Yeah, I don't know what's with that dancing cow.
Or whatever. They cut off my internet directly afterwards and they refused to bring it back. This happened when I was 14 too, except when I was 14 I ended up having a psychotic break that lasted for months, and the Wi-Fi being out was most of the reason for it. So, back then I obviously didn't want to have a psychotic break again, and I had nothing else to live for aside from the internet, so I attempted suicide. I told my parents I needed to go to the hospital because I thought I was bleeding out, when I was actually fine. And they refused to give me medical attention, and they laughed at me and even threatened to call the police because I was quote-unquote threatening them to take me to the hospital. The next day, I heard my mom on the phone gossiping to her friends about how I attempted suicide and how stupid I was for doing it, and then treated my dad like a hero for refusing to take me to the hospital.
Oh my god, what the fuck? This is giving me a headache. Remember when I mentioned at the beginning the concept of what unrestricted internet access does to a motherfucker? The entire 2-hour-long video is like this, by the way. There is just so much information to pass through being dumped on you at every turn that I'm gonna have to skip over a bunch of the less important shit, else risk a video the length of the Mr. T Lexify one. What I'm gathering from Birdie's description of the situation is that Birdie's parents were frustrated with the lack of action from Birdie in securing his future. So they turned the internet off after an argument, which subsequently led to Birdie suicide baiting with the claim that he didn't want to re-trigger his psychosis due to lack of internet access.
This is what I meant when I say he was making shit up about Cindy and it's just not her. Yeah, nah, bro. That sounds a little bit too much like victim blaming. I mean, well, not victim blaming. What's the word I'm looking for? Just simply making shit up. I don't know. The grooming shit is still true, so fuck both of them. I mean, if she's willing to like make some shit up just to try to ruin someone's life or just trying to make some point across, then I mean, honestly, you deserve whatever the fuck is coming to you. Like, wait, did she even like apologize or took accountability for, you know, saying all that shit, or lying to people or making some shit up, or is he like still like doubling down on it or some shit like that, or trying to keep his word on? This is just a little bit too much in my area. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, sure, if what Birdie is stating is true, it is pretty horrible of his parents to claim that he was just faking his depression as an excuse for his laziness. What are you fucking doing? And they probably should not have screamed at him, but overall, this entire situation is a pretty common dynamic between parents and children. I'm sure you or someone you know has been involved in a similar argument with a parental figure that may have even led to someone's internet being turned off. One thing I'm hoping you can't relate to, though, is the part where someone cuts themselves and begs to go to hospital. At risk of sounding like a jackass, Birdie is very clearly still alive and well making this video, so maybe Birdie's dad was onto something by refusing to take him to the hospital.
I told my parents I needed to go to the hospital because I thought I was bleeding out when I was actually fine.
I mean, it's not like he went and cut Birdie. It is kind of obnoxious to self-inflict harm and then expect someone to take the time out of the day to take you to the hospital. Additionally, I have to wonder how many times Birdie's parents experienced suicide baiting from Birdie, considering they supposedly immediately refused to take him to get medical treatment, yet apparently cared enough to get mad at him for being lazy. They do have 7 kids after all, and as far as I'm concerned, none of those are dead, so it's not exactly like they're just letting their kids off themselves with no concern for their well-being. This notably isn't the only instance of Birdie suicide baiting specifically his own parents mentioned within this video. There is also this.
There are 2 live stream clips from 2017 of me threatening suicide to my dad, and another of my mom confronting me for giving out my address. I'm not gonna play either of these clips because they were of me as a child being put in abusive situations and having an emotional response, so they're deeply triggering for me.
And here's that audio he doesn't want to play.
You need to go to bed.
Well, maybe if I had my computer in my room.
That's not gonna happen, and we could still hear you upstairs.
Well, can you, like, not come in here because you're gonna cause drama?
You can be on if you're talking during the day, but not at night. It's 3 in the morning now.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It's 2:45. It's 3 in the morning. I can control the time.
Dad, stop! You're gonna make someone hate me!
Well, it would be fine because you won't be on the internet at all. In all direction.
If you cut off the internet, I'm gonna kill myself. You know that.
Based on the fact that it was live streamed and...
Alrighty, that's a little bit too much. That's just too much. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, in that type of circumstances, that is just literally suicide baiting. That's just, my God. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Remember I said I was like going to California and then I was just gonna off it right there. That one was just fucked up for me to say that shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. But the time at like 2023, you know, at December, that was the time where I was actually attempting, you know, suicide. So I was like, yeah. But the one at 2022 was fucked up. Not gonna lie. That part right there was like baiting. Not gonna lie, it was fucked up. But yeah, that's definitely baiting. That's definitely suicide baiting. I ain't gonna lie.
Birdie described the last suicide baiting incident to have happened after the Wi-Fi was turned off. It's my impression that these are two different incidents, although the description from Birdie sounds so remarkably similar that I'm not 100% sure. If I am correct though, then that means Birdie suicide baited his own parents over them turning the Wi-Fi off at minimum twice now, which he does somewhat acknowledge, although of course simultaneously attempts to justify it.
I just want to say it was not okay for me to threaten suicide to my dad. Nobody should ever do this as a tactic to get what they want, and although it took several years, I've recently grown out of this behavior. But I want everybody to understand, I was 12 years old. I was a child and my parents did not love me. They never paid attention to me, and I learned that the only way they would take me seriously is if I threatened suicide. This came from a genuine place of suicidal ideation too, so it never came across as a manipulation tactic to me until I took my hiatus and thought about my actions throughout my life. Another thing to consider is that I have BPD, and one of the symptoms of my disorder is literally suicidal threats and gestures along with self-harm. This is a facet of my disorder, but I've gotten much better at not having suicidal outbursts. And I can admit that although I've improved, I still feel suicidal at times, but I try to express it in a manner that does not come across as manipulative.
People false. Oh, I already read that. I had Wi-Fi turned off as a kid, but I didn't care because GTA addiction. Yeah.
The reason I told my dad I was gonna kill myself was because I was live streaming at 3 a.m. and I didn't realize this was something I wasn't supposed to do, so my dad walked in and told me to stop, and I said I would. He came back later on because I was taking too long and told me he was gonna cut off the Wi-Fi, and I misinterpreted what he said and I believed he was gonna cut off my internet access forever, and I told him if he did that, I would kill myself. I didn't want to be alive if my escapism was taken away, so I lashed out.
Oh yeah, grown out of suicide baiting, like it's an old set of clothes.
I didn't mute during either of these live streams because I was caught up in the moment and I wanted people to sympathize with me. I truly believed that if people saw my emotional responses to these situations that I would be pitied, which is something that I always confused for love. It really is my fault that I decided not to mute the live stream, but at this age, I didn't have the capacity to understand what happens when you put out personal things online. This is a concept I didn't even understand until recently.
Yeah, I don't know if you figured that out yet, buddy. Let's get back to Birdie's retelling of his life story, shall we?
I found loopholes to get my internet back in 2022 without my parents' knowledge, of course. But with my internet taken away, I quickly began to realize the extent of my parents' abuse, and I realized I needed to get away from them as soon as possible. But I was only 16 and I didn't have any friends IRL, so there was nobody to save me. Eventually, an online friend, who I will not be naming here, got in contact with me and offered me a safe place to stay. The issue with this is—
You fucking lucky. You lucky motherfucker.
he lived all the way in Maryland, and I lived in Washington State, so I would need to prepare to move cross-country. I waited until I turned 18, and I prepared for over a year, all while hiding my plans from my parents. I relied on this guy for my own safety, and he began to emotionally abuse me as well. He became my favorite person, because guess what? I have borderline personality disorder.
Oh, well, maybe not. What the fuck is going on here?
Which I will talk about more later, which quickly worsened our unhealthy relationship. As soon as I had plans ready to purchase a plane ticket, he blocked me, leaving me back at square one, stuck in my abusive household with my parents and with no support system at all. He intended to let me stay at his mom's house, and I was under the impression that she knew I would be coming and that she was allowing me to stay there. I learned after the fact that this guy had lied to me and that his mom had no idea about our plans. Like, she just thought that I was coming to visit, not that I was gonna live there.
Although Birdie's retelling of the story does come off as extremely uncharitable, this is an instance where the other party involved, the so-called Maryland dude, has actually come out with his own perspective, which I will address later.
Wait, what the fuck?
The so-called Maryland dude has actually come out with—
Remember when you called me an abuse? Okay, I'm sick of being this week's hot juicy drama and having the dehumanization and demonetization and demonization of myself so widely normalized again. People are scraping the bottom of the barrel for rumors. I'm leaving for a bit. Everyone get your shit together. This is just like 2017. Time is a flat circle. Remember when you called me abusive after I tried to leave you like 3 times, and each time you kept guilt tripping me to come back by threatening to kill yourself? You tried to get me stranded in the middle of the country. Okay, I was 17 and a junior in high school. My bad. 2017 was a golden year for me. Shit, 2016 was a golden year for me. Take me back, please. I don't like this year,
which I will address
at all.
Also, another really weird thing that this guy did is that he kept bribing me with gifts. Like, according to him, he spent either $200 to $400 on gifts for me from, like, Amazon that he planned to give to me when I arrived at his house. And, like, even weirder, I have proof that these gifts were real. He ended up sending, like, 3 of them to me in the mail. And he would hold these gifts over my head constantly to, like, manipulate me. Like, whenever I did something that he didn't like, he would try to control me by being like, dude, I spent, like, $300 on gifts for you, and you're gonna act like this? You're such a bad friend. And, like, he would keep increasing the price every time he, like, use this tactic. Like, it started out as like, I spent $200 on you, and then it went up to like $400. So honestly, I don't know how much he spent on those gifts.
Yeah, I mean, with that description, this dude does sound pretty wretched. Holding a gift above someone's head is gross. However, what mistreatment from Birdie was he referring to that Birdie conveniently left out of the story? It might explain why he blocked Birdie the moment that Birdie bought a plane ticket. There is no indication that this Maryland dude knew that Birdie would be buying a plane ticket that day. Yeah, I would probably block some delusional abusive freak too if they suddenly decided to enact years-old plans of flying to my house and living there. Also, what the fuck is this guy Keemstar when he was reporting on Pyro's 16, 15, 14-year-old French girl? Why does he keep changing the numbers spent on gifts? With how uncharitably Birdie has been so far while describing these stories, I wouldn't be shocked if it's just because he had actually spent more each time he mentioned the number. After all, there are 3 different gifts sent to Birdie and there are 3 different figures mentioned. By the way, just to be clear, I haven't actually read the Maryland dude's perspective as of writing this part of the video. This is all just my opinion and perspective gathered from what Birdie has supplied us with in terms of information. The only reason I knew that the Maryland dude had come out with his own perspective, which later led to me finding it, is because Birdie put this in their video.
Meanwhile, as I was dealing with all this, the Maryland dude from before started harassing me privately and leaking my artwork and events publicly and claiming I abused him, which led to a resurgence in Birdie drama despite me being on hiatus and also still healing from what this guy did to me.
Oh, and as a final note,
where's the proof? Where's the proof? Like, you're saying all this shit and you're showing no proof. Where's the proof? Like harass you. Where's the proof?
note on this Maryland dude saga for now, at least until I address his side of the story. Of course, this Birdie fucker had to start using psych terms.
I never asked for any of the gifts. He just decided to love bomb me with them, and I couldn't do anything because holy shit, that's a lot of money to spend on like a manipulation tactic. If I'm being honest, that's what it is. Like, holy moly.
I have a personal beef with whoever unleashed the word love bomb on the internet.
So, now it's the beginning of 2023. I ended up moving 4 times in just this year, and I endured so much abuse, which I will elaborate on shortly. I got back on my feet quickly, and I prepared to complete my GED so I could get a job and afford to move out. Despite the significant progress I was making, my parents kicked me out very soon after I turned 18 with the intention of leaving me homeless on the streets.
Interesting that he noted, despite making significant progress on my GED. I'm beginning to get the impression that the aforementioned laziness that Birdie's parents were frustrated with was based around a lack of progress from Birdie on his GED. Also, what does he mean his parents kicked him out with the intention of making him homeless? Yeah, sure, I would agree that 18 is a very young age to be kicked out of the house. Nor do I believe that it would be particularly effective at giving Birdie the kick he needs to get his life in order and finish his GED. However, as Birdie will establish momentarily, he had other options for housing, and I don't doubt that his parents were aware of that considering who the housing is coming from.
The day I was kicked out, I went to my grandma's house, and she allowed me to stay there and eventually decided that she would house me until I could afford to move out.
Wait, that grandma you labeled as abusive at the beginning of the video? Well, let's hear it then.
Issues began to arise when she expected me to wake up early to go to school 3 days a week and work on math at home for an hour every day, as well as getting to all my appointments by myself. Which I know it sounds ridiculous that this is where I began to suffer, but I dropped out of school in 9th grade and I have super autism. There's also the fact that I can't drive, so I would have to take public transportation to these education programs and wherever else every time I needed to go, and it was a 15-minute walk to the bus stop every day.
Do I even need to say anything here?
No.
The next 5 minutes is Birdie bitching about how putting a disabled person through schooling without one-on-one tutoring is abusive or something, and also makes this goofy-ass claim.
It was the middle of summer.
Why hanging out with abusers, you know? I mean, at this point, this is literally just all on him. Like, you're hanging out with abusers. And you know that you're abusers, but you're hanging out with them anyways. I will understand. I would understand that you literally had no other choice, but you had to stick around with abusers. I know I have no choice but to stick around with that motherfucker. You literally had a choice, and you stick with the abuser. I mean, you literally just can't make this shit up. It's like Will asking Kai why he hanging out with people you don't like. Exactly.
And I didn't have any cool clothes thanks to my parents' neglect.
You did have clothes though, right? No significant damage to them? You know, I'm just checking because I don't think whether or not the clothes were cool dictates whether or not your parents were neglectful. This is just conjecture, as is a lot of the segment to do with Birdie's family. I wonder why, we only have one side of the story. But it seems more like Birdie's fault that his clothing wasn't cool enough. The clothing Birdie has drawn to demonstrate the supposed outfit of neglect is black shorts, black t-shirt, black headphones, and black wristbands. If this drawing is at all accurate to the clothing that he was supposedly wearing at the time, I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say that Birdie chose the fucking black clothing, considering it's one of his 3 favorite colors, and the drawing that he has representing current day him is also wearing black. Secondly, take the fucking wristbands off, mate, and while you're at it, the headphones too. The headphones are just gonna trap heat that would be escaping from your head. Thirdly, I don't think I've ever worn fucking shorts in my life, so Birdie is actually ahead of me in this part of the meta. And as far as I'm concerned, the US is nowhere near as humid as New Zealand, so I don't know what the fuck he's complaining about. Anyway, Birdie goes on to give the namesake for this chapter.
Fuck work anyways, it's not like I'm physically or mentally capable enough to uphold a job in the first place. Fuck capitalism, fuck the public school system, fuck ableism.
Oh yeah, so on Cables, you have a 115k subscriber channel in which numerous reasonably high effort animations are posted. What about this very fucking video, the 2-hour-long trauma dump? All of it drawn, written, animated, and edited by you, Birdie. Birdie is capable enough to write numerous long-winded vents on Tumblr which have repeatedly gotten him in hot water. Wait a second, bring that ramble back up. He mentioned the Maryland dude in it. Okay, so this is a Tumblr post that is in response to a question about BPD, and while that is what the majority of the post addresses, Birdie also elaborates, stating that around the time that he lost internet access, he began thinking that he had BPD, which he brought up to his mother, who shot the claim down. Upon getting access to the internet again, without his parents' knowledge, as Birdie keeps clarifying, he also got in contact with the Maryland dude, who forced the BPD label onto Birdie as a way of explaining his abusive behavior. This claim was followed by some bracketed text which stated that the Maryland dude was the one who was actually abusing and gaslighting Birdie into believing that he had a victim complex, and it wasn't actually the other way around, which, holy shit, the first usage of a psych term I might actually agree with. No, not the gaslighting claim from Birdie, the victim complex claim from the Maryland dude. Also, despite the fact that Birdie alleged the Maryland dude had forced the BPD label onto him, Birdie did actually end up being diagnosed with BPD in 2023 by a psychiatrist, which he even acknowledges in the same Tumblr post. It seems as if the Maryland dude sure as shit had Birdie figured out in at least this regard. Now, as previously mentioned, the Maryland dude did actually come out with his own perspective on the story, and that was on Twitter with notably substantially more evidence than Birdie. To start off, the Maryland dude, aka Refix, claimed that Birdie was most definitely the one who was at fault. One example of how would be when Refix attempted to distance himself from Birdie due to his increasingly deranged behavior. Birdie threatened to kill himself and sent a photo.
Jesus. I was trying to help you escape your household and you make threats to kill me. Whoa. Make threats to kill me behind my back before love bombing me is reassurance. You sent me 30k word Google Doc about how infatuated you were with me and then accused me of being abusive when I left. Stop fucking ignoring me. Fuck you. Planting voice. I will destroy all of you. Die. Why are you ignoring me? I thought you cared about me. I hate you. Fuck you. Fuck you, Vinny. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why? Talk to me, goddamn. Talk to me, goddammit! I'm sorry. I just had to laugh whenever somebody says that shit. It reminds me of that one clip. I'm trying so hard to talk to you. I'm gonna kill you. Ugh. God. Where in the Raven Starshine? You threatened suicide whenever I tried to leave this abusive cycle, and then when I finally left for good, you harassed me by telling me to kill myself and our old YouTube playlists and leak my state in your entire YouTube audience after blackmailing me into silence. Fucking Christ.
With cuts in his arms and proceeded to label Refix as abusive. This is supposedly displayed through this discussion afterwards. Refix additionally clarified that the primary reason he ended up blocking Birdie, preventing Birdie from coming to his house in Maryland, was because Birdie had allegedly threatened to kill Refix behind his back. So yes, Birdie seemingly completely lied about Refix, a person who merely attempted to help Birdie by offering him housing, subsequently labeling him as abusive and driving him to pull out mountains of hair from stress. Anyway, back to Birdie's trauma dump, because he starts talking about grandma now and how she was supposedly abusive.
I texted my grandma one day to ask if I could have some food in her house that I knew nobody was eating, and she got mad at me and told me not to blow up her phone asking for help ever again.
What? You can't just say that and expect me to believe you when you're showing fucking contradictory evidence on screen. Birdie's supposedly abusive grandma is just being extraordinarily sweet in these texts, talking about dropping off supplies like food or a blanket. The cognitive dissonance of Birdie describing how horrible his grandma was and how his grandma was blowing up his phone when this is on the screen is just fucking absurd to me and does imply that Birdie has provided an extraordinarily biased account of his relationship with his grandma. That's also why I'm so questionable of Birdie's entire trauma dump, because other than some worthless photos of some random gifts he received from the Maryland dude and a screenshot of another set of texts with grandma, these texts are the only piece of evidence that Birdie provides for his claims of being abused by his family, and it's completely fucking contradictory to his story. Regardless, here is Birdie to elaborate on his homelessness.
So now I had to go to a homeless shelter. It wasn't a regular homeless shelter though, it was a homeless shelter / mentoring program, which basically means that it's a homeless shelter except with responsibilities, and the owner basically chooses your life path for you, with the threat of sending you to a lesser homeless shelter if you didn't follow through with the goals he set up for you. Perfect environment for an abused, burnt out, mentally ill, paranoid dude, right? So this all went about as well for me as you could guess. I was surrounded by other homeless people with no privacy. I was too paranoid to go outside, and I barely had any money, so I couldn't get myself groceries, and I basically began to starve. Most days, all I ate was a granola bar or two, and some days I didn't even eat at all. I stopped showering because the living space was so dirty that I didn't feel clean after showering anymore. I was in an unsafe area. People would pizza bomb the place, and there would be police outside with loaded rifles, and literally everybody would laugh it off while I hid in my room and had a panic attack. One day I got too scared to drink the water because of how dirty the sink was, and I came dangerously close to passing out due to dehydration. I began to lose weight I didn't want to lose due to the lack of food. I was barely sleeping, too.
That sounds like a tutoring program mixed with a boarding house. I mean, there's also this text from Birdie's grandma, which I'll expand upon later, in which Birdie's grandma explicitly refers to staying at the shelter as not being homeless. To be fair, that could just be referring to the fact that Birdie would at least have a roof over his head, but regardless.
Shelter.
Conjecture warning, but this sounds like a program that you would need to fill out paperwork for, which, when considering Birdie said this,
That I needed somewhere to stay where I had a basic level of assistance because on my own I would literally starve to death. And my mom told me it would be fine and that her and my grandma would help me get groceries and get to my appointments. Where was that kind of help I needed a few months ago?
and he's also previously described those family members as transphobic. Wow, why is this relevant, you may be wondering?
This isn't even mentioning the transphobia I experienced at the shelter. Literally everybody there would keep misgendering me, including my lesbian roommate. Like, dude, you're LGBTQ, you should know better. The owner introduced me to everyone with my dead name behind my back for literally no reason. Like, there wasn't even a legal reason for him to do this.
The reason I say this segment is conjecture is because there isn't evidence that there was any paperwork involved. However, if there was, I don't think it's too much of a stretch to assume that it was Birdie's family that filled it out. And considering they're supposedly transphobic, I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say that they would have put his birth gender on there and not his transition gender. So despite saying that there was no legal reason for it, I can definitely envision there being one.
On my last day there, the owner admitted he called me Jack instead of using my pronouns because, quote, it's annoying how often trans people change their pronouns and it's too hard to keep track of. And then he proceeded to mansplain the concept of transphobia to me, and that some people may not agree with your lifestyle and you just have to let those people misgender you. And I had to agree with him because I didn't want to be the annoying tranny who stands up for his own rights, because that would have pissed him off for sure.
Wait, why is tranny censored? I don't get it.
To be clear, because it's important to establish for this next segment, Birdie is a trans man who was born as a woman. With that established, yes, obviously, that would suck if the shelter management and residents were intentionally dead-naming and misgendering Birdie. However, with how uncharitable his retelling of the story has been, especially in regards to his grandmother, I'm dubious of the claim's validity. Also, even in Birdie's description of his interaction with the shelter manager, other than maybe the comment about how annoying it is to keep up with people's updated pronouns, the shelter manager sounded relatively reasonable. I mean, yeah, it is just unfortunately a fact of life that people will not agree with Birdie's lifestyle and as a result will intentionally misgender him. And that's just something he has to put up with or risk other consequences for reacting. Additionally, Birdie did put this text on screen which claimed his grandma told him that they put him in a girls' dorm in order to not make the boys uncomfortable. So clearly his family was at least aware of the situation. Regardless, Birdie goes on to talk about his escape, if you will, from the homeless shelter.
I was completely alone and I was seething with rage. I knew I needed to get the hell out of that place before I ended up killing myself, so I contacted my Nana. I told her about my situation and she offered to come pick me up. I arranged for her and her husband to come pick me up and house me, and I didn't tell anybody in my family or anybody at the shelter until the day before she was showing up, because I knew they would try to keep me at the shelter. Of course, when I told the rest of my family, they were pissed. So my Nana arrived and I got the hell out of there. I began staying at her place, and I quickly realized this was a really bad idea. They had me live in their garage, and the room that they placed me in had no locks and no doors. My Nana and her husband very quickly became abusive. Her husband would yell at me and shove me and tug on my clothes and chase me into my room. I would hide under the bed from him, but he would just keep yelling. He would call me retarded and swear at me and yell.
What the fuck?
Every time I would go nonverbal, he would start screaming at me, and my Nana would ask me why I wasn't normal, and she would enable him by telling him I was doing it on purpose because I didn't like him, which is rich coming from her, considering she also suffers from autism and BPD and psychosis as well. Like, why aren't you normal, Karen? You guys have no idea how long I've wanted to make that joke. Her name is actually Karen.
Wow, most of
I mean, fucking hell.
Supposedly abusive family members who are seemingly MI6 when it comes to covering up evidence of their supposed abuse. Anyway, this next claim in regards to Birdie's Nana is honestly the most bizarro world thing I think I've ever witnessed.
Every week, when her husband would threaten to kick me out, I would present options of places for me to stay. I told her I could stay at a motel until my roommate came to pick me up, and she would come up with all sorts of bullshit to prevent me from having a safe place to stay. I would give her options, but she would say weird shit like she could take me to Oregon so I could live at her unfinished beach house despite her being unable to drive. She offered to buy a house in my hometown so I could stay there. She told me to just get an apartment by myself. Like, come on, in this economy, with the disabilities that I have, being unemployed? It'd be easier to cure cancer by mixing a shampoo potion together. I told her everything I said here about the homeless shelter and that was not an option. I had options on where to stay, but she straight up refused to let me go safely. She forced me to go back to the homeless shelter one day. I didn't have a choice because I had no method of transportation. There weren't any public buses in the area. I was literally in the middle of nowhere, by the way. My options were going back to the shelter or being left to the streets of this nowhere neighborhood and either starving to death or getting killed by coyotes.
I would give her options, but she would just say weird shit, like offering me free fucking housing. Like, what are we talking about? No, Birdie, your two options weren't fucking starve or get ate by coyotes. They were a house in Oregon or a house in your hometown. Like, what is all this shit about homelessness if it's completely self-inflicted? It is very well possible that Birdie's family was abusive to Birdie when they were younger. I mean, other than the unrestricted internet access, I don't know how else you would end up with someone as fucked up as Birdie. The issue is, however, when going over what Birdie has told us, I cannot in good faith make that conclusion, as by his description, his family has attempted to provide support to Birdie, and subsequently just got pushed away and received abuse allegations. That is especially when considering this second screenshot of text from Grandma. Within you can see Grandma seemingly giving Birdie some tough love, stating that Birdie should put some more work into not being so much to handle, as the whole family can't deal with it, especially after being burnt. Notably, Grandma does actually mention the shelter owner, stating that Birdie could contact him in an attempt to avoid homelessness. So, assumedly at this point, the free house in Oregon or the free house in his hometown is off the table. The fact that Birdie started the video with a disclaimer of why his family shouldn't watch it is suspicious to me. Was it genuinely motivated by desire for them to not be involved in his life because of the fact that they hurt him? Or was it just because he baselessly slanders them for the next half an hour and doesn't want to suffer the consequences of them watching it because he might actually be made homeless then? Based on the fact that we only have one side of the story, and when considering both substantial pieces of evidence that Birdie provides contradicts his narrative, I'm inclined to believe that it's an extremely biased retelling of the story that paints everything in the absolute worst possible light. And I'm fairly certain Birdie's recent life story isn't the only instance of him dishonestly framing a situation in order to paint himself as the victim. Regardless, at threat of being kicked out of his nana's place, Birdie takes his grandma's advice and contacts the shelter owner. However, for whatever reason, also states that he has accommodation from Synnibear03, who he also reached out to around the time.
I got so desperate I texted my mom and my grandma for help. And my grandma told me that it was my fault for being kicked out again and yada yada, and to call the owner of the shelter so I could go back.
Well, that's borderline.
My mom told me to go back to the shelter too. I told them both why that wasn't an option and that I needed somewhere to stay where I had a basic level of assistance because on my own I would literally starve to death, and my mom told me it would be fine and that her and my grandma would help me get groceries and get to my appointments. Where was that kind of help I needed a few months ago? Why are you all of a sudden willing to help me?
Oh, I don't know, maybe because Birdie is homeless and clearly can't take care of himself, so pushing him to do things like taking care of his own appointments would just apply unnecessary pressure to a family member that they're attempting to help at the time.
Well, I didn't have a choice, so...
I think I've played that one Halo with a guy named Nicholas like fucking years ago. It was like with all those crystal lights and shit. That's probably where I got the idea of the fucking made up show that I made up some shit. Crystal light. I don't know what Halo was it, but I think it was like one of those old Xbox 360. Yeah, I remember playing Halo with some dude named Nicholas. I was pretty good with it. I was fucking surprised how low-key easy it was. It wasn't really a campaign though. I was like shooting goop monsters, whatever the fuck they were. Shit.
I called the owner of the shelter and asked if I could get back in. The thing is, my Nana and her husband threatened to kick me out so often that I made plans for my roommate to come pick me up on November 4th. Due to this information, the owner rejected me and told me I couldn't go back to the shelter.
Why did Birdie tell the shelter owner that he had accommodation with Synnibear when he just didn't because Synnibear was across the country? Did he even clarify that, or was it just like, nah G, I got somewhere to stay, don't worry about it, bro? Regardless, it's finally time for the degenerates to unite, so I'll just let Birdie explain that for you.
I couldn't stay at my Nana's house for obvious reasons, so I had to go back to my parents' house. I'm not even kidding. I stayed there for a little less than a week until my roommate was able to drive from Missouri to Washington to pick me up. For those curious, my roommate is Synnibear03, another animation memer, furry, previous Sans fangirl. What are the chances? As of writing this, we've been living together for almost 2 months. We've known each other through the internet since we were kids, and we used to watch each other's videos on a regular basis, so it is incredibly surreal knowing that we ended up living together. But like, good surreal. I honestly don't know what I would have done without her. I know for sure I would have been homeless on the streets. It's hard to express how grateful I am to have this opportunity and to have a friend like this in general, because I've never experienced this kind of love and care and compassion until now. But I am incredibly grateful to have a chance at life, and it's all because of Synny. Everyone in her life was telling her not to come get me, but she went out of her way to save me regardless. We had a nice road trip. We were in the car for about 2 days. We snuggled up under some blankets and watched YouTube videos, ate snacks, listened to music, talked about things, and took naps on each other. We were homeless for a few days, but her friend provided us a place to sleep until we could move into our apartment. And now we're here. We have our own place, and we're happy. Not once in my entire life did I ever think I would have a future like this. Like, up until now, I had never been in a safe environment, so I had no concept of that ever becoming a reality. I fantasized about a future like this since I was very little, and now I'm here. I'm still mentally ill, I'm still struggling, I'm still healing from my past, but I'm happy and I'm safe, and I have a chance at life. I've never had that before. And I never could have done that without Synny.
Fuck you.
I've been an irresponsible content creator, and I've been acting inappropriately.
What the? I just skipped. Nigga, I just skipped like 5 seconds. How many chapters did I miss?
Without Synny.
Oh, my fault.
Wow, what a cute story. I'm sure this happiness will last forever.
I've been an irresponsible content creator, and
The fucking cut. Oh my gosh, shouldn't I skip? Holy shit, that was perfect.
I've been acting inappropriately towards my fans. This alone is enough for me to realize I need to make sweeping changes to how I conduct myself and how I interact with my fans. But the most serious thing I've done is I've groomed a minor. I became friends with a-
Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Never thought I'd hear a groomer amidst of grooming. Kinda, what the fuck?
14-year-old after I made a mental note to myself to not become friends with minors again.
Yeah, so as established, I already have a video covering the Synnibear03 allegations, but if you haven't seen it and need some context, let's just say it's a pretty open and shut case. Essentially, Synnibear was exposed for sending art that depicted gore, fetish content, and rape to minors, and ended up admitting to it in a video that was later taken down. Speaking of taking down videos, while I was working on this video, Synnibear privated her entire catalog, which resulted in one of the largest viewership count decreases I've ever seen on YouTube. But anyway, there were notably 2 Google documents that outlined allegations against Synnibear that were released in September of 2024. Birdie releases video, My Roommate Groomed a 14-year-old, I Need Help, the same day that the second document written by Eno was released, or more specifically, September 15th. The video has a bit of an entertaining beginning, I cannot lie.
Okay, I have to be kind of quiet
Yeah, I
because
remember watching
Cindy
this.
is in the other room because she called in sick from work today. But let me pull up my script.
This motherfucker is making his expose on Synnibear while she is in the next room. I cannot help but find that fucking hilarious. Could he not wait until tomorrow or the day after or what? I mean, he calls it an emergency to make the video, but I do not understand why you would rush something like this. The internet would not have noticed if Birdie had released his video a day or two later, but whatever, it's a minor point. Birdie goes on to provide some context of how they encountered the allegation and additionally clarifies that they condemn Synnibear and don't blindly support her just because they live together. Although notably, Birdie does repeat quite a few times that he doesn't know the extent of Synny's actions. So hey Birdie, maybe you should go watch my last video and then you can come back and watch this one. Birdie then states that he's looking to move out and will begin doing emergency commissions in order to raise money for it. That isn't his only intended method of fund acquisition though.
If you want to help me get to a safe place, I've set up a GoFundMe. I've never done this before, so...
Oh boy. Well, ain't that fucking ironic? Fuck. Hold on. Actually, I want to see if that GoFundMe is still around. Just the irony and the amount too. Fucking, god damn it. What's her name? Birdie, Synnibear, whatever the fuck. Oh boy, this had to be something, huh? 7 months ago. Oh, you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? Wow. Just. Oh, this is great. This is awesome. 563 donations reach to 1,100. It's a great world we live in, huh? Just a great fucking world we live in. My roommate, Synnibear03, animation meme creator, commentary creator with over 500,000 subscribers, was grooming a 14-year-old for 6 months behind my back. She has been taking advantage of me, my friends, and her fans, and I'm not safe here anymore. I need the funds to move out and get somewhere safe. Every single cent is appreciated, and I love all so much. I'm flat broke, and I have no way of escaping at the moment, and I have nowhere to go. I'll need money to apply for an apartment, pay rent in the future while I look for some kind of job, get groceries, most likely get a plane ticket, possibly have my belongings shipped to me once I'm in a secure place, bring one of my cats with me, get supplies and food for my cats, keep my prescription for my antidepressants and antipsychotic. Thank you for understanding my situation and thank you for your generosity. I will keep everybody updated. By the way, I use a zip code generator. The area it display is not where I actually am. I don't want to risk being put in danger with this. It is to help me get out of danger. So she can get 10K, cause yeah, but you know, I'm at a breaking point right now where I might have to commit a crime and, I'm not getting shit done. So, fuck me and my life, You're gonna love what he used the money for. What exactly did he use the money for? I better not be for fucking drugs, because I swear to God. Just appreciation, man. Just appreciating life, man. Just appreciating shit, man. I do not want to do it. It's just My Little Pony merch, the entire 10K. The entire 11K for My Little Pony? You're capping, right? Is there like proof to that? Wait. Is there like proof to that? Go back to the video. Wait, the Lord Crust one or the Birdie one?
Okay.
Lord Crust? Boy, I would love to use that money to get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, this would have been so good. Fucking mad right now, bro. Man. Whatever. Alright, let's go back to this.
Hope I'm doing it right. All expenses will go towards me moving to another place.
Well, I suppose that's a potential motivation for why Birdie rushed this video out. It seems likely to me that he wanted to capitalize on the recency of the allegation in order to get donations from people who didn't know any better. This campaign ended up raising a total of 11,110 USD. However, I've seen several claims with evidence that the money did not get used as advertised and instead went towards furthering Birdie's My Little Pony merch collection, which...
Ha! You see, like, this is the type of shit. This type of shit right here really boils my fucking blood, bro. I hope these are just allegations and she didn't really fucking use the 11K in order to get My Little Pony merch and not like a fucking place to stay. Because you know who would have loved to get that $11,000 to get somewhere to fucking stay? Me. But, nobody gives a fuck. So, I'm stuck. Yay! And this better be like allegations, bro, because I'm about to be pissed.
Okay, buddy. The person who initially made this claim was a Twitter user by the name of Queen, and they are actually the individual who temporarily housed Birdie after the release of this video. Temporarily because Birdie got kicked out, of course, which led to Birdie accusing Queen of being a manipulative, abusive hoarder, of course. Not before Birdie decided to
what the fuck?
ditch a shitload of his possessions at Queen's house, which...
Oh my... Yo, that is disgusting. Yo, clean your shit, Asmongold. Yo, Asmongold, clean your shit. The fuck wrong with you? Yo, Asmongold, the fuck is this? The fuck is this disease ass motherfucker? Like, bro, like Roach would have been living in that bitch. Yo, Asmongold, clean your shit up. Anyways,
seems to be...
Hold on, let me turn this closed caption off. This place is trash. The bitch would never pick up after herself, even when I begged her to every single day. I think she's a hoarder. It was fucking draining. As a perfectionist who grew up in an abusive house where cleanliness was prioritized above well-being. The pot calling the kettle black. Not gonna lie, you're way worse than Cinny. This is the room you left Julie Smith to clean up, and the stuff now had to ship to you. We didn't expect you to leave the state the next day. We'd hope you would have helped clean up your mess. It's just crazy.
Becoming a bit of a signature move at this point. But most notably, those possessions included the ashes of that ferret that he sexually assaulted and also called his daughter, Chara. Now, to be
Whoa, 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 whoa. The ashes of the ferret that she's... I mean, I just...
of that ferret that he sexually assaulted and also called his daughter,
Yeah, he
Chara.
left it behind.
Now, to be fair, in regards to the GoFundMe claim, Birdie did actually respond with an explanation when he was confronted on it. Well, I say he responded, but the messages claim that it's Birdie's PR responding, which is fucking hilarious to me because that either means that he's lying about having public representation, or he got public representation over people criticizing him online for being a freak. But regardless, this PR claims that Birdie is sat on the GoFundMe cash and it was actually just the money he earned from commissions that he spent on the My Little Pony merch, which I suppose is some semblance of a defense, although I still find it fucking ridiculous considering he's claimed to be flat broke, starving, and at risk of homelessness. But anyway, Birdie continues the video explaining how he intends on escaping from Synnibear's place.
Honestly, I don't even know where I'm gonna go. I don't know what the rest of my life is gonna be. I'm gonna talk to my family later. I highly doubt I'll be able to stay with any of them because, you know.
Big think as to why that would be. If my understanding of the story is correct, then Birdie basically accused these people, his own family, of being...
Yep. Sounds about right. How can you say you care about the ferret when you left the ashes behind? Because he actually fucking doesn't. I think this course person must have said he sexually abused that fucking thing. So, I mean, I don't know why that surprises you, folks.
Physically, emotionally, and sexually abusive with his relatively large YouTube platform when, as far as I'm concerned, all these people really did was push Birdie to try and look after himself and not be so reliant on others. Even in the unlikely instance that everything Birdie has claimed about them is correct, why would one, Birdie even want to move back in with them, and two, why would they want to take Birdie back if Birdie has already aired out how horrible they are online, probably for the whole local town to see? That's honestly the main thing. None of these people have online careers. There was no reason for Birdie to make a half-hour-long segment airing out personal family drama, especially when considering the fact that Birdie's old therapist, for example, but additionally his family and friends have found his videos and watched them.
I didn't have anybody IRL to confide in, and even when I did, they would talk about me on the internet or watch videos about me. My own parents did this, which is hilarious. Like, I'm pretty sure they watched Birdie rants together on their TV. This is like cartoon villainy.
I have a personal life and beefs, but you guys sure as shit aren't hearing about it unless it's anecdotally relevant to a point or it somehow comes online, and even then, I'm gonna do my best not to disclose any of the parties involved. I mean, this motherfucking Birdie seemingly accuses every single person that comes within a 10-meter radius of abuse without evidence. So of course people are gonna start poking holes in the story, especially if he starts asking for 10K to solve a problem that he seemingly made for himself. What's pretty absurd is that, as far as I'm concerned, Birdie is currently staying with another family member. So genuinely, what did that 11,110 USD go towards?
What the fuck? What the? Boy, I'm... Oh, Oh my fucking god. So she's staying with a family member when she claims that she needed the $10,000 in order to have a place to stay and a job to look for to work at. So exactly what Cross said. What the fuck did she do with the 11K that she got from the niggas on the internet? Man, this sent me into a whirlpool of fuck shit right now, man. Like, you literally have no idea how much you have no idea how life-changing that was if I was able to get that type of money, man. Like, I would have been out of this bitch, bro. I would have been out of this bitch. I would have gotten a job. I would have gotten a place to stay. I would have been making multiple means of money. I would have been went back to grinding. I wouldn't have to worry about my goddamn family. I wouldn't have to worry about a goddamn thing but bills. And that is something I can literally figure out, man. That is something I can literally figure out. So you're telling me that this motherfucker got 11,000 money from motherfuckers that is willing to help her out, get her own place and shit. Instead, she's staying with a fucking family member. What's up with the title? I'm at my breaking point. That's the title. Is the argument that I have with the little dictator over there has escalated a little bit, and yeah. I'm at my breaking point right now, and something would allow me to do some crazy shit that would, land me into some crazy house and shit like that. Because, just like what that dude said, nobody's coming to help me. So I'm pretty much fucking screwed here. So, that's just how it is. That's just how it is. Nobody came to help me. So, fuck it. So, like I said in the other stream that I had, I have nothing to lose, so, that type of ordeal. Back to the point, though. 11,000 is just like what Volt said, scam. So, she basically just scammed a bunch of motherfuckers, man. She scammed a bunch of motherfuckers. She scammed a bunch of motherfuckers. I don't fucking believe this shit. What's this video about? The depravity of the art community is personified. Birdie, another Synnibear03 ex-friend or some shit. I didn't hear that right. 11,000? Yes. Yes, K-Fire. Yes. She gotten 11,110. And she was staying at a fucking family member's house instead of getting a place of her own. Like, you know how life-changing that would have been, bro. You know how life-changing this fucking money would have been if I was able to get this much, bro. If I was able to get this much. Like, fucking Christ, bro. And then she just used that shit for nothing, bro. You gotta be kidding me, bro. That shit would have been so fucking life-changing. So fucking life-changing, bro. So motherfucking life-changing, bro. I hate this so much. I hate this shit so much, man. I hate this shit, and I fucking hate Birdie, man. For once, I was like, is that a female human? No, that's a trans man. That's a trans man. It's a he, it. I don't know anymore. It's just, This shit right here would have been life changing for me, man. $11,000, man. Oh my god. 11,110. Yeah, it's better not to question it, Freedom. Fucking scam, bro. Just straight up scam. Just straight up fucking scam, bro. This would have been so fucking good. A place to stay, a job, multiple means of money, living by my fucking self. I don't have to worry about family this and people that. It's just something, bro. Boy, when I tell you, bro, I'm edging to make another commentary video. I am edging to make another commentary fucking video, bro. I'm edging so fucking hard to make another commentary video, but I just gotta focus on this fucking issue that I have right now. And this just further in the fucking issues. This just furthers my issue in, because, you know, she used all this money for nothing. Basically for My Little Pony merch. My Little Pony merch. All this for My Little Pony merch and some wheelchairs. Boy, when I like I wanted to crash out so bad, but the nigga is right there in the next room, so I was just keep it on the low. I would tell you, bro, it's just See, like, this is another reason why I cannot get the fucking cash, because of people like this, man. They're just gonna assume that I'm scamming. They're just gonna assume I'm scamming now, because, like, you know, with black people and shit always be scamming. Like, I've been a victim of scam like a few times, bro, mostly by black people. So I understand, you know, being scammed and shit like that. This is just fucked up on so many fucking levels. It just boils my fucking blood. Man, I can't, bro. Well, I just fucking can't. Go fuck yourself, Birdie. Like all the other shit, all the other weird shit. Okay, whatever. This shit right here, like just sends me on a fucking. Let me just continue the video before I go even further, bro. Just sends me to a fucking frenzy, man. I hate people like them, bro. Give me the video link so I could dislike to vote. You can give them the video link if you want. I'm just gonna keep watching.
Than My Little Pony much, because it seemingly wasn't the advertised housing or food, which I would say, if is the case, makes the campaign a scam. Either way, seemingly right before Birdie released his My Roommate Groomed a 14-year-old I Need Help video, he accused Synnibear of sexual assault, which he included the audio of in the video.
This whole thing has made me realize that you have been inappropriate with me too.
Wait, how?
You know how I told you not to like poke me in the butt or like on my crotch, and
giving them
you still do it?
Oh,
That's fair. That's fair, actually.
Wait, do I do it in the crotch, really?
Like, I don't know, sometimes you still make jokes about like fingering me and stuff, and you asked me to sit on your face that one time. Like, that's not, like, that's a sexual situation that you were gonna put me in. Like, I consented to it because I didn't know what kind of touching was and wasn't okay, but now that I'm like putting the pieces together, now that I've like stepped back and
I have no
took
idea.
in the whole view of the situation, you haven't been treating a lot of people right. Like, your hypersexuality can only go so far. Like, at this point, you're taking advantage of your fans, and you've taken advantage of me, and I'm gonna be honest, Cinny, I don't want to live with you anymore.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. I draw a line here. I can't have you doing these things with kids. I can't live with someone who is taking advantage of children. I can't.
I don't want to anymore.
But you still did, and that's the issue. You can't undo this. Like, you have done this with so many people, and it's okay.
No,
Oh yeah, Freedom and K-Fire, if you're still here. She this Birdie person actually sexually abused our pet ferret, and has the ashes of her pet ferret kept around in that little box, and yeah, and then she left it in somebody else's crib. That's why Volt said that. You draw the lines at kids, but not animals. I mean, like the irony in that whole interaction I just hear. Just crazy work, man. Crazy work.
It's okay.
I want to be better. I want to do better. I want to do
You
better.
can't come back from this.
Don't do that.
You can't come back. You can. It's okay, but
No,
say
Jack, I cannot lose you.
I don't feel safe here anymore after learning what happened.
Jack,
Dude, I was fucking crying my eyes out earlier when I found out what you did.
Jack, please.
Broke my heart, Cinny, that you would do that.
Honestly, just an odd conversation. About half a month after this video was released on October 4th, Birdie ended up posting this frankly bizarre piece of art which claimed to depict the incident. I say bizarre because who the fuck draws their supposedly traumatic sexual assault? I at least don't think I've seen that before, but regardless, Birdie proceeds to include these messages.
Is this what it likes when Chelsea and Darko breaks up? Oh my god. Oh fuck. She doesn't even sound like she's crying. What the fuck she's talking? Yeah, I don't even know, bro. I don't even know. It sounds like crocodile tears to me. Oh my god, no. Like I'll be better. Please stay. I won't be without. That don't sound real. That don't sound real.
Synnibear, in which she attempts to defend herself. As with a lot of the story, this is another instance of he said, she said, as a lot of the evidence that Birdie presented, I would say, doesn't really indicate that a sexual assault did or didn't happen. However, I do have to point out how convenient this timing from Birdie is. Don't get me wrong, Synnibear is a freak who has sent inappropriate messages to a minor, but if she also sexually assaulted Birdie, why is that only coming out now when it's a convenient career move for Birdie?
Also, right when I got finished recording, Cinny said this to me when I went to check Discord, so yeah. But like, I need to get out of here. I don't feel safe here anymore. The public needs to know this information. Like, this is a public matter, and I'm gonna be the first to voice this publicly because if somebody else went first, everybody would go after me. And don't worry, I am like speed running this. I'm like going through this as fast as I can, just so I can I can get this out as quick as I can. So everyone's
Funny
educated.
thing, Birdie did the same thing that Cinny did.
So the other motivation for rushing out the video is narrative control. I mean, that isn't inherently a bad thing, but it is quite bizarre that Birdie acknowledges if he wasn't to do so first, it would be against him. Either way, the large majority of the rest of the 30-minute video is just Birdie going over the Synnibear allegations, which again, I've already covered in a video, so I have no interest in rehashing them here. However, Birdie does provide some additional claims in regards to his experiences with Synnibear. Specifically, he claims that before moving in, Synnibear had fuck? This is so deranged. Specifically, Birdie claims that before moving in, Synnibear had sent art of Birdie ringing Synnibear to the roommate that Synnibear had before Birdie moved in.
Why can't y'all just watch anime, please? Like, you just talk about anime. Just talk about how your favorite moment when Naruto and Sasuke make out, or like when Luffy take over. I don't know fucking shit about One Piece. JJK, like My Hero. We'll just have a discussion about anime. What the fuck is this? Because anime fans are weird. It's a discussion freedom. I'm talking about a discussion. What the fuck is going on here, man? It's cartoon. Fuck it. Invincible. Everybody likes Invincible, right? Stand ready for my arrival, worm. Does anybody like that? It's a discussion about some shit. Where the fuck is it just raping shit? What's I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. Play Gartic phone or some fuck shit. Oh my god. Ugh. Oh my god. Vote. I don't even know. Ugh.
Birdie was informed of this by the aforementioned ex-roommate, however, moved in anyway. Look, I'm gonna be real. All of the descriptions of Synnibear sexually assaulting Birdie just sound like awkward sexual encounters in which the lack or presence of consent wasn't made.
Vote, they did draw something. They did draw something.
Particularly clear to either party. So I find it difficult to definitively state whether there was or wasn't sexual misconduct from Synnibear, at least in regards to Birdie, obviously. I wouldn't say Synni confessed or anything in the confrontation, she just sounded confused, so I honestly have no opinion on this accusation, especially considering how unreliable of a narrator Birdie is. Interestingly, Birdie also stated that Synnibear had met his family, so here's the clip of that.
It took one conversation for my happy ending to just be ripped out from under me. My friendship with Synni was all a lie. The opportunities she gave me, her saving my life. We celebrated Christmas together. We celebrated Thanksgiving together. My whole family treated her like she was part of us. Even my parents. We went on vacation with family in Seattle for 4 days very recently. My grandparents paid to fly me and Synni out to Seattle, and they don't even know her. They gave her $300 to spend in Seattle, and they didn't even know her. They were so kind and generous to her, and she ended up being a predator. She fucking broke my heart.
Let me remind you that these are the same parents and grandparents who were supposedly abusive. Interesting how the described demeanor completely changes when it's convenient to Birdie's narrative of Synni being a horrible person because she was ungrateful to Birdie's extraordinarily generous parents. Also, don't forget that Birdie was saying in the exact same video 10 minutes beforehand that he doubted he would be able to get housing from his family. I mean, I could certainly believe it, although after hearing that they went on vacation with them and Birdie's family was very kind to Birdie and Synnibear, who was essentially a stranger to them, well after Birdie had already made their video accusing them of insane shit, it makes me extremely dubious. The next element of the story would be the tweets that came after this video, although I want to show you this clip first.
One time she wanted to find a character AI adjacent thing that let her sext with the AI, and her friends didn't give her anything. One time I was cuddling with her and I was on top of her and we were watching something while she was sexting with the AI.
Bro, sexting with you have somebody cuddling with you. What the fuck are you doing? Oh my god, no way. You have somebody cuddling with you. Why are you sexting a bot? Why are you sexting a bot? You have somebody Somebody coloring! This is why we can't have nice shit, bro. This is why we can't have nice shit.
I said something like, "Oh, your heart's beating really fast. You must be scared of whatever we're watching." And she said, "Oh no, it's for another reason." And I had to tell her to stop sexting with the AI while I was there.
Wow, what an exciting and bright future we have for the human race.
For
getting
real.
cucked by an AI chatbot. Regardless, like I said, it's about time we talk about those tweets.
I have never done anything like what Cindy has done. I would never endanger a child just to get off.
The first notable one would be this tweet from the day after the video "My roommate groomed a 14-year-old, I need help" was released, or more specifically September.
Whoa, hold on. I just woke up 30 minutes ago and the amount of support I've received is insane. I'm already halfway to my goal on the GoFundMe overnight. There are no words to describe my gratitude. None of me and Sydney, mutual friends, are taking her side in this situation. It is all such a relief. I just checked YouTube, 100,000 views. Holy guacamole! What the? This is the best outcome I could ever wish for. Holy guacamole! I just, fucking, this is some insane shit, bro. I still can't get over the fact that people donated money to this piece of shit. Yeah, no, freedom. That's not even the bad part. That's not even like the bad fucking type of donation that people has gotten. There was a woman who says the N-word with a hard R to a 5-year-old child and got like at least $500,000 in donations. And then there was another instance where a black kid killed a white kid in a school, and the family made a GoFundMe for the kid that killed the white kid, and it raises over at least like maybe like the same amount. But hey, I can't get a place of my own and a job to look for. But, you know, somebody that can say it's the N-word with the hard R to a 5-year-old, and they can get fucking rich off of that. But apparently me looking for work is a problem. And me looking for a place to stay by myself is a problem. And doing all those shit, this, that, and the third is a problem. And all I needed is 10K. Great time to live. Fuck. The fuck are these people teaching it? I don't even fucking know. I don't even know, dude. It's just it's just instances where people just don't deserve kids. It's these type of instances where people just don't fucking deserve kids. Like, if you know that you're not parent material, just don't get kids. Just don't get fucking kids. I'm not even, like, I'll admit I'm not even parent material, so that's why I'm not busting one out for, like, to even get kids and shit like that, because it's like, nah. That's not me. I'm not a parent material. Blame mine. And some of my mental instability, but, you know, mostly them. So, you know, somebody that does want parents, or, oh my god, wants to make family, you know, they should have it. They should have that shit. But if they know that they're not parent material, just don't bust one out. Just wear a condom. Fucking Christ. But hey, this is our future, you know. Gen Alpha, then the next one's gonna be Beta. Boy, I feel bad for the Gen Alpha, so I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I'm not gonna get political. Fucking.
September 16th. Within, Birdie states that overnight his GoFundMe had hit half its goal, so roughly 5K. It looks like rushing that video out in an attempt to control the narrative worked out pretty well for Birdie. Well, at least at first. You can actually see this in the comment section of his video, with overwhelming support being visible from around the time that the video released, followed by about 3 months later a bunch of highlight comments talking about how the older ones had aged terribly. The following day, on September 17th, Birdie declares that he had managed to escape from Synnibear's place with the cat Swerp, however had to leave the other one, Stupid, behind. He also talked about making a second video on Synnibear, however that prospect lasted all of about a couple days because the situation got too dangerous to cover or something. The next notable tweets are from about 10 days later, on the 29th of September. Birdie had a bit of a spike in activity this day, releasing a metric shitload of tweets, including a 6-tweet thread. The first one states that Birdie had to put his commission artwork he was doing for people to raise money on hold because his Cash App and PayPal had begun declining. This was followed about 9 hours later by Birdie claiming that Synnibear had his password, singular I may note, and had used it to break into his Discord to screenshot logs of
Yeah, low-key. That's not even a caption. Holy fuck. It's just lowercase. Everything is lowercase. Not even like after the period, you should, like, there's no capital there. There's not even a capital letter at the start of our fucking, the conversation. Like, there's like the comma. There's like no comma, like, where's the... No, seriously. Cinny had my password and used it to get into my Discord account to find discriminative SC screenshots. Oh my god. Screenshots. Alright. Screenshots of me shit talking her. I just had to change. See, when you're reading this shit, it's just so hard to even trying to figure out what the fuck she's trying to say. But it says, I had to change my passwords on everything. Okay, so there's some capitalizing. There's some capitalizing, but not the start of the... And not even her name, and you know, not even the I. Okay, including my bank accounts and emails. I will not be silent about this. Fuck you, Cynthia. You deserve to rot in hell. This shit PMO.
Birdie talking about Synnibear. The damage had already supposedly been done though, as Birdie had to change his password to his bank account and email. It does seem to me as if he had the same password for all of his accounts, which is a mistake I'm sure some of you watching are guilty of and should probably fix. Shortly after this video, of course. Or not, I don't care. Either way, about an hour or two later, Birdie starts the 6-tweet thread stating that he had the realization he had left his old PC at Synnibear's place. So does that mean Synnibear didn't have his one password and just turned on his computer instead? Also, how the fuck is Birdie this terminally online but still managed to leave his whole ass PC logged in with all his personal details and accounts available at the place of the person he's, well, backstabbing, for lack of a better word? This is some Oxy Monster Rick Schiffner type shit. Fucking level 1 OPSEC type beat. Either way, that isn't even the most insane claim that Birdie lobbies against Synnibear in his 6-tweet thread. He also tried to claim that Synnibear wants to kill him. I suppose that's the danger that Birdie was referring to, preventing the second video from being made. His evidence for this are these oddly cropped screenshots of text that Synnibear had sent to a mutual friend of Synnibear and Birdie. Within, Synny states that she wants Birdie to die because of how unfair his treatment of her has been, as well as stating that she wanted to kill Birdie. Both of these have no context as to the conversation preceding or following the statements. However, my basic intuition tells me that Synny is not genuinely threatening to murder Birdie. It's more just a figure of speech to express her frustration with Birdie turning his back on her due to being exposed. There was also this long-ass lunacy-filled text in which Synnibear was talking about how she acquired
Fucking hell. Literally. Jack made a Twitter thread saying he had more info on me and is making a second video on me. He said he was talking to my friends and co-workers all day and is now staying with my co-worker, I think, but I don't know which ones. He said he is stealing my friends, and he said, live and suffer, Birdie03. After after I saw Jack's Twitter thread, I had to leave work early. I bought a knife, pepper spray, and a crowbar to protect myself. I'm thinking about buying a gun too. I screamed at Dad over the phone when she said just trying to comfort me, but I was convinced someone was in my apartment and they were going to kill me as soon as I entered my place. I parked in the neighborhood 30 minutes away from where I live and blank went into my apartment to check on my room with blank. I thought about someone was there and would kill her, thinking she was me, and I was so scared to try calling her again. Everything was clear though. I came home and checked all of my rooms for myself with my pepper spray in hand. I broke down crying once I saw stupid and I slept in my room with my bedroom door locked. I felt like I'm going insane. Nah, Birdie forged this. Yeah, that does not sound like Cynthia. That don't sound like Synnibear. That most likely sound like Birdie, because of the whole. I think is this called like schizophrenia or some shit? Is this schizophrenia or is this just paranoia? Yeah, that does not sound like Cindy. Yeah, that shit looked forged.
Weaponry because she had the belief that someone was in her apartment attempting to kill her. I don't know, delusional shit as per with these two, I guess. The weapons she specified were a knife, pepper spray, crowbar, and she was intending on getting a firearm down the line as well. Birdie was framing it as if these items were supposed to be a part of Synnibear's Hitman toolset that she was going to use to take Birdie out. This was followed by Birdie presenting a story about one of the last times they hung out together, assumedly in an attempt to
Surprised no Amazon gift card was involved.
Displayed that Synnibear was unstable and capable of snapping and killing him at any moment. Either way, Birdie states the last time Synnibear was driving them home from dinner, she said, "What if I crashed and killed us both?" To which Birdie responded, "That wouldn't be ideal." Synnibear supposedly then replied, "But it would be," which apparently led into a conversation in which...
What the fuck is going on? Hey, yo! How old is Bert? That's a good fucking question. How old is she? Oh my fuck. Oh god, I keep getting the fucking thing mixed up. I meant to say he, god damn it. Oh, he's 20, huh?
Birdie tried talking Synnibear out of crashing and killing them both. Sometime later in the same drive home, Synnibear supposedly stated, "I want to do the thing..."
Exactly, what the fuck's such a conversation like that?
That BoJack Horseman did, where he lets go of the steering wheel and drives at 100 miles per hour. Now, Birdie does clarify that he took this as a joke. However, still attempts to use it to display how unstable Synnibear was. Unfortunately for Birdie though, there is no evidence for this drive home conversation, let alone the BoJack Horseman part. And it's no secret that Birdie is fucking obsessed with that show.
I love South Park, BoJack Horseman.
Kind of ironic because I think he misses just about every lesson that show attempted to tell, but regardless.
Damn.
As much as I could totally see Synnibear being deranged and actually stating this, I could just as easily see Birdie fabricating this part of the story in an attempt to dramatize or exaggerate the claim that Cindy was an unhinged mob hitman who was going to beat him to death with a crowbar. Anyway, the next relevant tweets are from about 5 days later on October 4th when Birdie expanded upon the hacking situation. Birdie had managed to get a key to Cindy's place and, well, just wandered in, I guess, because he claimed not only had Synnibear hooked up Birdie's PC to her own, but Birdie had also left his laptop behind, which was hidden in a drawer, as well as his USB flash drive, which was completely hidden. Yeah, so assuming this is true, that's arguably the crime of hacking being committed by Synnibear, and it's most definitely a breach of Birdie's privacy. Just because the computers were left in her property does not mean that Synni can just go sifting through the contents of the hard drive. Regardless, the final notable tweet is from about a month later on November 9th, where Birdie claimed that he was leaving the internet for a while due to all the drama. What drama, you may be wondering? Well, despite this line in this video about Synnibear,
all of my artwork is 16 plus, like I said, but I'd like to make it a point that this animation has a suggestive nature, so you know what you're in for, because I'm not a freak, unlike Synni.
Birdie had actually received allegations of his own in regards to inappropriate conduct with minors. The most recent and relevant which has to do with when Birdie commented on the fan art of a 15-year-old fan encouraging them.
What in God's name is this? Oh boy.
The main issue is that this 15-year-old fan was drawing what they described as a hypersexual version of Birdie's persona. This version of Birdie's persona is apparently a pre-established character on Birdie's NSFW18+ Twitter account, which notably has limited followers. I've also found some artwork posted by Birdie on his Tumblr that depicts this hypersexual persona, so I guess it is possible that the fan found it there, although I have no idea how to check the date of when something was posted on this forsaken website, although I do honestly think that just makes it worse, because that means he's posting his hypersexual persona for all of the children in his audience to see, like this 15-year-old. Either way, Birdie's NSFW Twitter account has well over 4,000 followers, which does make me wonder whether or not he's applied any thought to the individuals that he allows into the account, especially when considering the general age of the art animation community's audience. I mean, his bio claims that he does, but to be honest, the stuff that he posts on his main accounts is already pretty questionable to be exposing children to. Both of the characters depicted have self-harm scarring, and I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say that this 15-year-old's art is heavily influenced by Birdie. If you look at some of their other posts, they have declared Birdie as their BPD favorite person and expressed fantasies of Birdie returning to YouTube with a deeper voice and stable life. Yeah, I think that one's staying as a fantasy, buddy. Obviously, with just one glance at this person's account, you can tell they're an obsessive fan that Birdie should not engage with, else risk encouraging them to sink deeper into their unhealthy obsession. I have seen the claim that Birdie responds to pretty much every single piece of fan art online, which does semi-serve as a defense. However, it more just leads me to the conclusion that Birdie should apply more of a standard to what and who he engages with online, especially when considering his stylization of art and the fact that he's trying to criticize Synnibear for very similar actions. Now, you may have noticed that I'm still yet to elaborate on how those cats, Squirp and Stupid, were going to be relevant later. Well, you see, on October 19th, Birdie had released a tweet which accused Synnibear of stealing his cat, Squirp. This was apparently important enough for Synnibear to break her hiatus and respond to, because she ended up releasing her final video, at least as of the moment, on YouTube.
Jack is claiming that I have possession of Squirp, that I successfully took her from him, but I don't have her. I have no idea where my cat is, and I don't know if he's even aware of where she is. Jack took her from my apartment when he left, and left her at a friend's house, and I've been fighting by way of the legal system to try and bring her home. It's been a long, drawn-out process. He states I have her, but I haven't received her. I have no idea where she is, and that's why I'm making this video. My cat is not safe in his care. If Jack cannot handle himself, then I don't believe he can properly take care of an animal. I have on multiple occasions come home from work with all the lights being off in the apartment, and the cat's not having any food or water or attention, because Jack spent all day in bed and never got up to take care of them. Jack is seemingly physically disabled, possibly from a heart condition. The reason I say seemingly is because Jack doesn't have any form of diagnosis, and I don't know if I should definitively state that he has a condition. He very likely does have a condition of some kind that affects his day-to-day life, but I just don't know that for certain. I don't think him having a disability voids him of the responsibility he chose when he begged me to adopt Squirp. I don't know if Jack knows where the cat is. If he doesn't know where Squirp is, then he needs to fucking question his friends, because that means they're hiding the cat from him. And if he does know, then he's actively lying to his audience about where my cat is. by painting a picture of me as a terrible cat abuser who stole Squirt from him. I'm really fucking concerned because I keep getting messages from a shelter saying that Squirt was found, and when I checked in with the shelter, they weren't holding her anymore. Where the fuck is my cat? I have been going through hell trying to get her back. I went to police, animal control, the city prosecutor. Izzy, the friend I believe to be holding the cat, was sent a legal notice to return my cat, as well as the many items that Jack stole from me when he left, and when he later entered my apartment after I changed the locks.
So Birdie is the real cat thief then? This is honestly fucking disgusting. I mean, none of these freaks should be looking after cats, but especially not Birdie, the guy who can barely feed himself a fucking granola bar. Don't get me wrong, Synnibear should not be looking after them either, especially after statements like this.
Jack says he came into my apartment to
No, I'm pretty sure it was the ferret.
visit Stupid, which was while I was at work, and he did this without my
You're talking about
permission
Cindy
or
or
my knowledge. He says I'm not taking care of her because when he came over, my apartment was dirty and the floor was covered in litter, and Stupid's nails weren't clipped. And I'm so fucking annoyed because as soon as I came home, the same day he came over, hours after he left, I came home and I was on my hands and knees scrubbing the floor. I swept, I mopped, and I scrubbed the floor to lift up the caked on litter and cat food. I made that floor sparkle.
I have no idea how it even gets to the point where there is cat litter caked on the floor, but at least you can fucking feed them, I guess. Regardless, it seems as if we don't have to worry about either of them being in possession of the cat, because according to Synnibear, when Birdie came over and stole the cat, he ended up dropping it off at a mate's house. This mate goes by the name of Izzy, and yeah, I trust him about as much as I trust Cinny to look after that cat. Here's a confrontation between Cinny and Izzy that was added at the end of the video.
Hi. What are you doing?
I'm here for my cat.
No.
What do you mean no?
Cynthia, you're not allowed here.
What do you mean?
Cynthia, go home.
Your father let me inside. Where's my cat?
I wouldn't give her to you.
What do you mean?
Because she's not your cat.
Yes, she is. Where is my cat?
Cynthia, no.
What do you mean no?
Cynthia, go home.
What do you mean no? She's literally my cat. I have the paperwork. I can show you the paperwork, actually.
Cynthia, just because you bought this cat for Jack. You said you bought this cat for Jack.
That means literally nothing.
That does mean something. You bought this cat for Jack, yes? You bought this cat for Jack.
That doesn't mean anything.
Cynthia, yes or no?
That does not matter.
Cynthia, did you buy this cat for Jack?
That doesn't matter.
Cynthia, did you buy this cat for
Izzy,
Jack?
my name is on the paperwork.
Cindy.
He will not take care of her.
Cindy, go home or I will call 911.
And like, what are they gonna do?
Go home or I will call 911. Go. Is this cat yours?
Yes.
Did you
Yes.
buy this cat?
Yes.
Yes?
She's my cat. I spent the money. I signed the paperwork. Give me my cat.
This cat back. Didn't Jack give you the money for your cat?
I can't say that for sure. Do you know how long ago that was? Like 6 months ago.
That's a year ago.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Cynthia.
why are you fighting me so hard on this?
Because
You literally, I gave you a letter.
this is for Jack. This cat is for Jack, Cynthia.
Give me my cat.
Well, it's my cat now.
What do you mean it's your cat now?
You can figure that out. But
Figure
Cynthia,
that out. Okay.
you bought this cat for Jack. You did. You bought this cat for Jack.
Yeah, back when I thought, do you want to know how much he did for this cat?
A lot.
Cuddled with it, like I'm sure that's the most he really did. Cleaned the litter boxes when I asked him to, like only when I asked him to. You know how?
You did admit that you bought this cat for Jack.
Yeah, sure. For Jack, it's still my cat.
Cynthia, why are you even here?
I would like to retrieve my cat.
No.
I don't trust you. I do not trust you with this cat.
Go.
I want my cat.
Cynthia, go.
I literally gave you like a court order.
Okay, and go before I call the cops.
I
will call the cops, Cynthia.
really cannot believe you.
Okay, I'll call 911 then. Go. Get. Go.
Fuck you. Fuck you. God.
Go. Just go. Just go.
Fuck you.
And thank you.
You have until the 25th.
What?
You have until the 25th before, and I will fucking
Jack.
doesn't fucking matter.
It does.
It is my cat.
Bruh, holy, imagine getting fucking debate broed over the custody of your own cat. I mean, disregarding the fact that she fucking paid for it, it's pretty clear that Cinny was the primary caretaker for the cat for the duration of Birdie's stay at her house. And, I mean, it's not as if there's a lack of trying to get the cat repossessed. I mean, she went through legal processes and even rolled up to Izzy's house. My only concern is in regards to the cleanliness. However, Cinny has already stated that that is something that she is actively improving. So yeah, overall, the worst party in this cat allegation is Birdie. What a fucking shocker. Genuinely, what the fuck was this guy thinking? Oh, I'm gonna do a Navy SEAL hostage rescue to relieve Synnibear of possession of Squirp, and then I'm going to, I don't know, give it to my friend, I guess? I know I can't look after it. Also, Cinny barely mentions it, but in one of the texts from Izzy, it appears as if she just admits to stealing a flash drive monitor and jewelry. This implies to me that when Birdie and Izzy went to Cinny's house to go repossess Squirp, they additionally stole a bunch of possessions from her, which, yeah, that implies to me that Izzy is fucked in the head, and it's not just because she's friends with Birdie. If the cat's well-being was genuinely of concern to these freaks, why are they only attempting to save Squirp after their big falling out? It just seems like an attempt to weaponize a problem they could give less of a shit about in order to drive the public narrative against Synnibear. I mean, to be honest, out of all three of these freaks, that being Synnibear, Birdie, and Izzy, I think Synnibear honestly has the most right to the custody of that cat. By the way, I only realized while finalizing this video, but you know that person who temporarily housed Birdie after he moved out of Cinny's place, Queen? Well, that is Izzy. She has posted so many tweets flexing Squirp that I can't help but find it honestly vile. I mean, the cat is in a fucking banner like it's some sort of trophy, for fuck's sake. Additionally, as explained in this fucking deranged wall of text written by Izzy, she is no longer friends with Birdie and Cinny, and has also renamed Squirp to Latte, which, holy fuck this person. They are wretched. There is not one sane person involved in this fucking drama.
I began to get popular online at 12, but I received negative attention instead of the comfort and positivity that I wanted, and it broke me. I was trapped between worlds. I couldn't stay on the internet because it was killing me, but I also couldn't leave the internet because my home life was killing me. So I chose escapism, despite how much it was hurting me.
If you were to take Birdie and his words at face value, like the large majority of his audience at least originally did, well then you would believe that he has had one of the most unfair, hardship-filled lives of being perpetually abused by every single person he knows except for his siblings. It seems to me though that the one consistent factor in all those stories is Birdie himself. If every single person who attempts to provide support or care to Birdie, whether they family, friends, social worker, eventually ends up ostracized and labeled as abusive by Birdie, well, it begins to make me wonder whether the actual issue in all of these stories is Birdie, especially when Birdie has evidently lied about elements of their narrative, and the only evidence he's provided has been contradictory to his story. On top of that, the two people who got accused by Birdie that spoke about it publicly ended up denying the allegations and lobbying some of their own back at Birdie. Birdie is potentially even more degenerate than Synnibear. He has seemingly scammed his audience of 11,000 USD. He has basically accused countless people who did nothing but attempt to support him of abuse of all kinds. He has had numerous questionable online interactions with minors in which they discuss topics such as masochism or gore. He has self-admittedly suicide baited his own parents when they turned off the internet, and allegedly done the same when his 17-year-old who offered him housing tried to escape his emotionally abusive behavior. Birdie is a 20-year-old adult who has a perpetual victim mentality and inability to acknowledge fault for his actions, although it's very possible, if not likely, that he was the victim of abuse and grooming at a young age. That does not justify him reflecting the treatment that he received onto others.
I need you to understand that animation meme community was a breeding ground for grooming to take place. These kinds of videos were made for a child audience, and the adults
What the fuck is that?
Or took any action. A lot of the adults here took advantage of people like me, and they failed people like me. My parents failed me too. They knew what kinds of videos I was making and watching, and they even knew that I was being groomed, and they didn't do anything. It's funny, when they found out I was being groomed, albeit by a different guy, they grounded me for it. I don't know if you can tell, but my childhood is like cartoonishly messed up.
Honestly, if everything Birdie is saying is true, and my, to be honest, large amount of conjecture is incorrect, and especially if it's correct, for Birdie's own mental and physical health, he should not be online, as almost everything he does on the internet seemingly has a detrimental effect to either himself or others. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. The next video in the art commentary community saga can finally address what this and the Synnibear03 video have been building up to. The YouTuber Just a Robot. Like or dislike the video depending on how you felt about it. Feel free to leave a comment with feedback or criticism. Subscribe with the notification bell hit to be notified of my future uploads. And thank you to the two big dogs who have generously paid for a membership to my channel, Nodos and Miss Fox McCoy. I have you to thank for my continued existence. Oh, I also got a new camera if you can't tell.
Looking forward for Just a Robot. What's going on with Just a Robot? That's another thing. Yeah, it's fucking frozen. I don't know why. It's just incredible stuff. This laptop was about fucking $900. I paid $900 for this shit to fucking froze. It's like just insane shit, bro. Stream's doing well for some fucking reason. He defended City. Well, I know that. It's just that all, or let's see if I can at least try to. No, I can't. I think it's because Windows is just badly optimized. That's gotta be it. This fucking thing. It's kind of weird that the stream is running good, but this goddamn thing.
Are you sure you don't want to accompany us to Johnny's party?
No, Katana.
Are you sure you don't want to accompany us to Johnny's party?
No, Katana. Truth.
It's the type of content I love to watch, not gonna lie. Shout out to Odd Giant AF. Anyways, back to this shit. I'm gonna look at the comments.
Jack, aka Birdie, aka Damage Coder 669, aka Lucifer, aka
Alright. You are so far the only person I see that films himself full body in a top downish angle, green screen onto gameplay footage. Yeah, I gotta say, his commentary style is kind of unique. I got fired from my job. I'm living with my parents, and I feel like a constant failure. But I feel blessed to not be like Synnibear and the Birdie fellow. Yeah, it really is. Like, holy shit, what the fuck? What? Even all. Birdie is the definition of maybe it is that damn phone. A little bit. Have you ever met a 12-year-old that hasn't drawn porn? When I was 12, I was drawing creepy pasta characters, not porn. The full leaked Birdie recording. Good lord. I'm not going to deny that Jack has been through a lot, but holy shit, he can't take any responsibility. He generally needs help and has to get off the internet. Yeah, that's just another thing, bro. That is just another thing. It's just that this person just the fact that she has to use suicide in order for her parents not to turn off the Wi-Fi is just fucked up in so many different ways. I mean, I used to do that suicide baiting thing too, not gonna lie, and I took full responsibility and accountability for that shit. It was fucked up for me to do that. To be honest, it was just very, very fucked up. But you know, in 2023, I did kind of attempt suicide, so I don't know about that. What kind of 12-year-old draws NSFW? I don't even know. Just a small note. Birdie and KD age gap isn't quite 2 years. Birdie was born in September 2004, and KD was born in February 2003. So the age gap is even lower than what Birdie implies. Oh, so like 3 years? Probably 3 years, right? September? It's most likely 3 years. So glad that did not turn out like this. Yeah. Yeah, you better cherish you better cherish what your parents raised you, bro. Your parents raised you not to be like them. Because, you know, a lot of parents is just, it's not 3 years. I don't know what the fuck this person's talking about then. Yeah, you gotta cherish what your parents gave you, bro. Because some of the times, like, not a lot of people has like good parents and shit like that, and you know their life end up fucked up mostly because of the bad habits that you got from your family. So you know, but at other times you gotta take accountability and responsibility of your own actions. So you know that's something you had to go through. But even with that, you'll still get fuck shit going to you. So you know. yeah, you know, life is just great. America, you know. The Birdie story has escaped the RCC confine. Oh no. I was being abused. I had to wake up early and walk to the bus stop 15 minutes to go to school, bro. Yeah, this story was odd. I ain't gonna lie to you. Also additional information about Birdie. There was a period of time where Birdie's whole profile was themed around a fork. According to one of his exes in a live stream, it was due to Birdie stabbing his mom with a fork. Yeah, he got arrested for assaulting his mother. Alrighty. Birdie downplayed the situation and said that he only lightly poked her. Yeah, he stabbed her. He stabbed his mom with a fork. I don't know how you got that out of what I just fucking. I don't like to sound like I'm spewing bullshit. If you want proof, it was from Goat Kato's stream where they're going through Birdie's "I'm Back" video, and in some parts of Goat Kato's stream, they show private DMs of Birdie, one of which is the fork incident. Huh. Interesting dilemma. So apparently Birdie has stabbed his mother with a fork, but loves to play victim. What the fuck, bro? I just literally can't. Stab his mother with a fork and got $11,000. So okay, so let me get this straight. So James Charles, you know, sexually inappropriately messaging minors, sending pics of his dick or whatever the fuck, still gets to make money. Apparently that's not cancelable. Logan Paul filming a dead body, that's not cancelable. Academics apparently groomed somebody. I must just probably leave that one out. Kevin Leonardo spread his whole ass cheeks wide the fuck open. 50 million views out of that shit. What else? Cardi B drugged and robbed a nigga. Career still flourishes. Big fan base, by the way. Good to know. Cardi B drugged men. What else? The baby killed somebody. It wasn't through self-defense, by the way. I've actually seen that Walmart incident. He actually just shot a nigga. They just claimed that it's self-defense and it thought it's self-defense. So they're like, you know what, baby, we'll just let you go. Yeah. Oh yeah, Drake kissed a 17-year-old girl back in like 2011 in a stage full of fucking people, camera evidence and everything else. People still fuck with him. What else? Oh, that chick that called a 5-year-old little baby black boy the N-word, hard R, gets 500,000 donations off of that shit. A black kid killing a white kid in a high school, and the black kid's family. By the way, the black kid not only got out of jail, walking free, but the family made a GoFundMe and make about thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars off of that shit. I mean, just a lot of pedos walking. Oh yeah, EDP is still walking around the streets, even though that he is a full-scale pedophile. I mean, and then now we just got this piece of work over here. Victim blaming, like the entire shit. Being a hypocrite is one of them. Being not really a narcissist, being a manipulator at some points in time. Oh, sexually abuse his ferret, stabbing his mom with a fork, and gets to make this much money. But when somebody that has said and do some weird shit and vile shit to people, and even though he took accountability for all of his fucking actions, don't get fucking shit. And when somebody wants to live their better life and some shit like that, they're not allowed to have that type of shit because yeah, I don't really have to spell that out. $10,000, by the way. Would have loved it for a place of my own and a job to work and multiple incomes I can make, possibly being rich. Fuck me, I guess. But people like Cardi B and all this shit. It could just flourish all around. Oh yeah, Erica Miller. She twerked her ass in front of the entire middle schoolers. I think no, it was high schoolers. So she twerked right in front of minors, like really butt cheeks closer to the minor's face. Yeah, and nothing literally happens to her. There's like a lot of bad people in the world just doing bad shit, and then they still get to make money. They still get to have endorsements, and they still get to have fan base, right? Right. It's just not a lot of good people just running around, huh? And then the actual good people are just being good. And then the somebody that wants their life to be changed just gets fucking shafted and ostracized because they just don't fit the criteria of those other people that usually just make the money and shit like that. So they just continue to flourish while the motherfucker that wants their lives changed end up dead. It's just the life. This is just the life, man. I don't get it. It's just fucking great. I mean, hey, there's people out there, just, doing fucked up shit. Oh yeah, Zoe Laverne, makes out with a minor, and then the victim spoke out about the shit that happened with him and Zoe Laverne in a recent TikTok video, by the way, of her making out with a minor. I think she was like 19 and the minor was 10, and nothing happens to her, and even the mother defends her pedophilic daughter, and she even got married, and Zoe Laverne still gets to make fucking TikToks. So many bad stuff that bad people do, but they still get to make money, they still get to flourish and all this shit, but somebody who wants their life to be changed don't get the fucking luxury of that shit because they're just staying with what they did in the past. Even though that the accountability was taken, even though that whole shit was deaded, they're just staying with the mistake that they made in the past. They're just staying with that shit for the rest of their fucking life. They're just staying with that shit. Bad people are rewarded while good people are not. It's not the fact that good people are just not rewarded. It's just that the people that actually wants their life to be changed and shit like that just doesn't really get the opportunity of that shit. Most likely due to the fact that they don't really like do the stuff that the bad people are typically fucking doing that gave you that type of opportunity. So that's the type of shit, bro. That's just the type of shit. But it's like good people always being getting treated like shit and being taken advantage of, so they end up not being good. And you know, it's just a side note. Just a side note. Just because you're a good person, that doesn't mean you don't have to take people's shit. Don't give people like you don't have to take people's shit. You know, you can be good, but you have to have respect for yourself. Otherwise, you just be too much of a good boy or a good girl or a good person in general. Just a goody goody, and you just love to get fucking taken advantage of, and no respect for you, bro. Like, you're not a good person. You're a victim. That's a huge difference. You can be like just be a good person, not a victim. That's simple. It's just a simple of life, you know. It's just shit like this just piss me off, bro. Cause like, you know, like she's staying with a family member. She using all this shit for My Little Pony merch and some wheelchairs and shit like that. So she basically scammed over 500 fucking people. She scammed over 500 fucking people, and nobody is talking about it. Nobody's talking like except for that crust dude. But not enough people are fucking talking about it. Not enough fucking people are talking about it. I mean, I could talk about it because, you know, my situation, you know, I need this type of shit to get the fuck out. But, you know, I don't know if I want to be honest, because this shit right here literally boils me to the fucking core, man. I hate people like this. I'm not even gonna cap. I really hate people like this. I really fucking hate people like this. It's just crazy how so many good things that could have just done in the fucking world. Instead, they just want to abuse and scam and manipulate and fuck over and grape people and kill like. It's just wild what type of world we live in, bro. It's just wild, but what can we really do about it? What can we really do about it, man? It is what it is. So, oh, there's an update.
So I made a short 2 years ago talking about the YouTuber Ravenstar Shinito helped bring light to her behavior.
But recently, thanks to YouTuber to Slanders, he went over the document to help bring awareness to this.
Wait, what the fuck? Thanks for the shout out, I guess. Wait, how is people still getting my fucking YouTube name wrong? It's Slater, not Slander. I don't even. You have no. It's not even autocorrect, bro. Like, they could easily fit. You have no idea how many fucking years I have to be put up with people mispronouncing mispronouncing my fucking name. It's Slater. Like, not every year everybody keep getting my name wrong. It's Slater, not Slander. But whatever, thanks for the shout out, I guess.
Told YouTuber to Slanders, he went over the document to help bring awareness to the situation.
Now I'm remaking them. Short so I can let you guys know it has now been updated to hopefully feel a bit more organized and easy to follow.
It should have never just used that AI voice, but
Huge thanks to my friend Teg for making the document and allowing me to go over it and fix it, because we and a few more of our friends have.
Fucking Christ, this is why we call you Sane, Squad Sane, or Co-Sane. Yeah, it's much more easy than just say Slander. Fucking Slander. That nigga's gonna use that shit for something. I knew it.
Been exposing her for years. The document will be provided in the comments, so if you have any questions, please leave them there.
Anyways, that's all. Bye. So I made a short 2 years ago.
What the fuck? The Venom AI, bro. What the hell? Okay. Oh shit! Wait, what? 3 weeks ago. Okay. I was one who found the Elemental Guardians doc on Raven's Starshine and sent it to Cosane Ty Slater. I read the whole thing and I was intrigued because I dispute with her in the past regarding her going after me because I wasn't a fan of TMNT and MLP ships. I made an old rant video on my old channel. It's gone now, pretty much criticizing her for not understanding Sonic lore and the current. Fuck. I still have the flu. My fault. Please don't clip that. Cringe stuff on her YouTube, but I didn't know about the self-shipping with Leo until March, where one of my friends told me, so I went to search her channel to see the videos deleted, which eventually lead me finding the shorts with the Google Doc, which explained why I appreciate y'all's work on this, which explains why I appreciate y'all works on this. I guess she can't handle anything negative. Yeah, type shit. Shout out to that person though. It's Slater, by the way, not slander, but thanks for the shout out. Did she delete her video? Yeah, she deleted her video. I think she deleted all the video like that was like made like 4 years ago or some shit. Hold on, I gotta check. I know she deleted the video where I commented on it, so I know she deleted that one. Why is that the first thing I see when searching up her name? Holy shit. Okay, I know this ain't her. Okay, this one is her. Yeah, so all the things from like 4 years ago is gone now. I don't really feel like commenting on her shit, bro. Yeah, all the shit from 4 years ago is gone. She deleted them. That art from Squirrel Girl, though. Anyways, I want Squirrel Girl to crush my skull between her. Okay, that's enough of that. All right, refresh. Don't think about what I just read. She did her post too. Type shit. Alrighty.